weekend. Yeah, it was a good weekend.
And this is, well, I won't tell your business, but suffice it to say, Percival is looking lean and mean.
Yes,
He
and
is ready for battle, fighting fit shape. I
yes,
am trying to keep pace.
yeah, it was a good weekend, as I indicated about 3 weeks ago. That I'd call him an icon. At Calabar, we had a memorial for him yesterday. It was a good occasion. And what I found significant is that Calabar and KC have this intense rivalry. And what happened was that there were people from Jamaica College, KC, there paying their respects. And his brother was saying, in terms of giving a tribute to his brother, was saying he never focused on that rivalry, focus on just helping people. Wherever you came from, it was about helping people. And then, incidentally, the global teacher of the year, who went to Jamaica, and she
The
was
Jamaican
there.
lady, yeah.
Torp, she's one of his daughters, or they're twins, and she
I
had
mean, literally his daughter, not his spiritual daughter, like
his
your
daughter. No, his daughter.
biological
His
daughter.
daughter.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So she paid tribute to him in terms of his impact on them as twins and what has happened. So it was good to have met her. That was a thing, and
Yes.
she's in Jamaica. Probably we can um
Yeah,
talk
probably
to her
when,
when it's morning.
when you and I
Morning.
watch the video.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
see how she was. But it was a good time, and it just speaks to what we need in Jamaica now. Yesterday also, I met up with somebody who is one of the principals of the major schools, and he is first he commented on by losing weight, but then the second question is, what are we gonna do about this crime and violence? Because it's affecting every single person, and it just goes back to what we've been saying on this program. We have to go back to the golden rule, which is do unto others as I want them to do unto me. But more importantly, Jesus says, what are the two greatest commandments? Love the Lord thy God with all of thy heart and everything, and love your neighbor as yourself. And loving your neighbor as yourself comes out of the truth that God has created every single one of us in his image and in his likeness. And because that is true, I'm now going to do for my brother the same thing that I'd love for my brother to do for me, and even to just love my brother as myself. So if we really in Jamaica want to fix the crime and violence problem, let us focus on transformation of hearts, heart condition, and that's what we've been pushing on this program. So that's my simple encouragement this morning to all of us in Jamaica. We now, in terms of, have to move away from saying government must do this, but to focus on what is it that I can do at home. I have to build back the family structure. What can I do in my communities? What will I do in terms of saying, what can I do to help my brother? Me, her friend is not well, so she says, let's go. It's our sister, not our blood sister. So you need to do this, and she says, okay, we're gonna do this, prepare a meal. So I get up in the kitchen doing
Chef
that.
Chef Percy.
Yes, 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 yes.
We don't believe.
Yes,
No.
we are still waiting on
Yes, I know.
evidence.
But that's all right.
Say, bring the evidence.
But what I had to do was to go into Price Mart to do it. So I'm in the line pushing, and I saw these people previously walking about shopping. So it's a gentleman and his lady. So I'm walking and I see her, and I'm saying, he's beside her the trolley and she's standing there. So I'm saying, are you in the line? Yes, I'm in the line. So I'm shifting over because I'm seeing, are you not? You know see me? You know see me? Not the line. You want to push down the man? So I'm pressing along. And then they go up, go up, go up together in two different lines. Really? Why
You
would
didn't.
you? Why?
Let's
Why?
get it clear. You
Why?
did not approve of her strategy of
No.
straddling two lines.
No. Why could you do that? Do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. That's been very selfish. You're holding two. He's in one line.
And she's in another.
She's in another line.
And whichever one gets through first.
Yeah, but
Your poor strategy was going by yourself.
Oh, jeez.
You should have had company to do the
No, no,
same.
no. Do unto others.
But did she steal your spot?
Yeah, because she was holding the spot.
No, but when she moved away, didn't you get
Yeah,
the
but she
spot?
don't have a trolley. She don't have a trolley.
What tells you need a trolley to be in
All right.
PriceSmart?
Okay. I leave it alone.
Oh, Percival.
I leave it
That
alone.
is a common strategy of people who shop in twos.
No. And him
All
almost
right,
take
tell
a-
me. No, the behavior was bad, but they could have said, "I'm in one line," which I do whenever Lowell and I shop together.
No.
I stand in one line, he stands in another.
No.
Whichever gets through first, we move
That's
in.
very selfish.
How is it selfish?
It's
You're
a
suppo-
strategy. It's you don't think that's been
No,
selfish?
no, you want me to give you a parable about the landowner who was hiring people and the one denari per for the day.
Doesn't apply.
Of course, it applies.
Don't apply. Don't apply. Don't apply.
All right, to the listeners, what
They need to call in and tell us what they think about
One
that whole
day.
scenario.
you didn't bring company. That's why when
Really
Christ
now.
sent out his disciples, he sent them out in twos.
Really, you're justifying it. Yeah, man, that's all right.
And that's why policemen go out in twos and call for backup.
Oh, I hear you.
Send back. They were rude about it.
No, but think
Because usually, it's a relief when someone is holding the position in your line and they give up and go. You move up.
really now.
Mhm.
My question for you.
And
Was
then
the lady
sometime-
standing in the line?
She was standing
When
in
you
the
asked
line.
her? So why did you ask her if she was in the line?
Because
She didn't have a
She
trolley.
never had a trolley.
No,
And
but she
you-
was standing in the line.
But you must, to my own mind,
Yes.
if you're in the line, you
That's
have a
how-
trolley to push.
No,
Yeah,
suppose you're taking one of the things
You
off
see
the
a
shelf
sign
that
there that
you only
says
use
that?
the car.
No. They never had anything. And they were rude about it.
They were rude. That is
Was there a
ungracious.
sign
Yeah,
that
they've
says,
not been
"If
gracious.
you're standing in line,
Yes,
you must
yeah.
have trolley"?
Yeah. They're Pastor, you need to shop with your wife. So you can run two
No, I
lines.
can
Pastor?
understand, you know.
Can I
No.
take a
All right, hold on. We got the break signal.
I would ask you to
Please
break
stay
that
with
this-
us. We're gonna take the break and give Pastor a lesson in crafty shopping.
Crafty shopping.
We'll be right back. Youths, are you stressed? Are you faced with trauma? Well, this is the program for you. Join Royton McLaren for youth resilience and empowerment every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. on Best 100.5 FM.
Half a tree,
So,
half a tree,
you
one
found
and
out
try,
that
half a
there
tree.
was another
Bossy,
person when
how
that
we
person
how we do I take taxi
what?
star?
How did you
John,
find
I
out that was the
want to tell you, say,
Don't
at 2
go
months
beside
now, my
me.
transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Right.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have
And what
them.
they say-
Them
what
have
they say
over
to you,
35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040. Or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Trust me.
You know, very first time. Hey, me do it about Listen, man, in a bank, huh?
What a
And they see
relief.
you. Mhm.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love the station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving,
My station.
moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM. Keep listening.
Hey, say, let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, and lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double T Dum Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah Records.com. For bookings, a Suja record label at Gmail. Almighty Jah. Praise Him, praise Him, praise Him, praise Him. And the no name of Jah, if it time me up. And the no name of Jah, if it through up. So them evil, so them lie, so them corrupt. Scheming and them planning, but we not give up. Jehovah and the one where you put me up. In the Father we put the first Dan Jaja they done with the name Dan Jaja super cat him come and then you with Dan Dada. They don't shake the Dan Mama. Wicked and evil Jack come to slaughter. Cool wet in you and the whole scripture. And live and faith and night and the holy water. The need not a Glock.
We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADBEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. You wouldn't believe the energy that was released in this room as we tried to decide what was the right moral position on Pastor's shopping dilemma. Suffice it to say, some people say fight with Brock, and we quash that spirit. This is what cramp and paralyze that spirit. But it is really a very common practice. When I'm doing it, I am not afraid to say, I'm in this line, he's in that line, whichever happens first. We're good to go. And people understand it. The ungracious and the rude talk, unnecessary. But it looked like they were ashamed of their strategy and didn't know how to tell you.
No, but you know, but a gentleman who saw the whole thing unfold, you know what his comment was?
Yeah.
That's why we can't get better in Jamaica. He looked at it and says, come on, we understand, but at least don't be
rude about it.
Don't be rude about it.
Ungracious.
Yeah.
Hedging your bet.
Yeah. And sometimes you have a third person in another line if you're also shopping with a sister. I'm kidding. I've never shopped with more than one person.
No, but if you look the principle of it, which is we are our brother's keeper. And put yourself in that situation. You ask yourself, would I want somebody to do that to me? Really understand the hedging of the bet.
Yeah, but what's the doing what? The being rude and ungracious about it, or standing in front of the line in the hope that this line will move faster than the other line?
Both. In my own mind, both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
We can differ on that, but both. But the ungraciousness about it and being rude about it, I just simply ask, which line are you in? Because it looks like, you know, price might can be the crookedness of the line. So
yes.
You see people trying to say, which line are you in and so on. But
you know, Percival, let's kind of jump into it, because always we're talking about heart positions and how we treat with one another in the bond, the covenant that we share. Many times I've had to consider whether or not a knee-jerk reaction I have to some perceived injustice is right, or it is just, you know, my own pride and sense of importance that is causing me to feel that I've been, you know, treated badly. And you see that business with waiting in a line and so on, I've often had to say, well, truth of the matter is, in this place, in order for me to come out with my purchases, I have to wait until it's my turn. And sometimes there are persons before me who may take plenty or little time, depending on what they have. And it all comes down to what my situation is. Sometimes I'm in a hurry and I will say to someone, can I go before you because I'm in a hurry?
And people have come and said.
And other times persons have said, I only have one item, can I go before? And I always think about it and I say, you know what? If I am in that situation, I want persons to give me the consideration that I'm seeking. And I have been in that situation where I'm in one line holding the spot. Sometimes whomever you're shopping with has gone to get something that you had forgotten, and on all those occasions you just act with tolerance. That's it. I have no expectation that there won't be persons ahead of me who are really hedging their bets.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, that's not an expectation I could realistically have. So that if I'm disappointed in it, I get annoyed. So I hear you.
I wasn't annoyed. I wasn't annoyed.
Or I feel that I wasn't treated with the courtesy that my brother should have for me or extend to me.
Let's extend it even on the road.
Absolutely.
On the road in terms of...
Yeah, you're trying to get out of a side road, or you're proceeding on the main road and you see the nose of the car is too far out, or you've been there for a while and nobody's letting you in. You always have to kind of say, well, maybe everybody's hurrying.
But not even that.
Or you keep, listen, it comes back to personal control and choice. I need to put that in. I hope Errol is listening. Good morning,
Choices,
Errol.
choices.
It comes down to the choice you make. And I always choose to believe that something is happening in the other person's life which requires them to get the advantage, to move ahead.
So what about
I
the
choose to
taxi men?
believe that, including the taxi men who I know are trying to get as many covers as they can to make as much as they can in a day. And you just pray that they are safe in what they're doing.
So what do you say about them who drive so recklessly? They who have 2 lines?
I stay out of their way. I'm not taking them on. I stay out of their way. I said, God bless you. I'm not in the hurry you're in. I stay out of their way.
But what about the rule of law? It says, because that is what helps us to regulate our behavior. Because some of them believe.
So you're shifting us now from the dimension in which we are citizens of equal standing, traversing the roadway, and some are pursuing a course that might be above our skill level. I mean, a person driving a certain way might outdrive me. I don't know. So I'm not going to go, driver to driver. Shift from there now and let's step above to the place where we really need to be this morning, where we're looking at leadership. We're looking at how our society is regulated. We're looking at how responsive certain institutions are to engagement with citizens. Because I would say to you now, if I'm on the road in a particular area and I am treated very badly on the road by another motorist, but I have the time to take down the number and so on, there must be a place where I can call. And there must be some system in place that would say, if you have a PPV registration and we receive 14 complaints about you in 1 month, say.
No, you are being very generous. 1 month?
No,
in 1 week.
But I'm just, I live a sheltered life. I'm not on the road much. To me, 14 complaints are plenty.
But in a week.
But suppose you had a system like that then, where it says, if you have this kind of registration and there are a certain number of complaints, it is suspended for a week. No argument. Or it is suspended for a month. So that citizens could have a place. So citizens could have a place where they feel like, all right, you go on with it. And that's what the administration of justice is about, It is having those valves that people can open up to bleed off the frustration and the upset when things happen in the public space, which they can't deal with one-to-one. Because I'm not going to deal with no taxi driver one-to-one. But suppose I have a situation. I need to know that there's a place I can go. And that's what good leadership, good management of a society provides, these checks and balances in the system that citizens can lean on. That's my take on it. So each time something like that happens, and when we go into our deeper conversations about social reform and how we live together under covenant, we have to consider some of those things. What are the institutions? What are the things that we put in place to help citizens exert greater control over some of the things that happen around them? You see on some motor vehicles, you see a thing like, if you like my driving, call so and so. Because obviously, somewhere, somebody has a system that says, if you get so many positive reviews, it matters in your performance appraisal, or it may affect some kind of incentive that gets paid out. On the regulatory side, you can do the same. And all you make sure is that you can deal with the malicious, the prank complaints, or the aggressive competitor who decides that they need to make complaints about you and take you out of business. But there are easy ways to do it, because if you're tracking a person who makes a call to lodge a complaint, must be prepared to give certain information that can allow it to be verified in the event that it's disputed. I'm just saying, there are ways to do things.
So even with,
I feel like the producer need a microphone. He's looking very involved and wanting to say something.
It probably saying in terms
Give
of
the
what's
producer a
happening
microphone.
with the
I've
police and that's happening.
I've had several requests for the producer to get a microphone more often,
But
because every now and then they feel he might have something good to say.
but it's in regards to policing,
Yeah.
and the whole of the front page today
Yes.
is about policing.
I tell you, you notice how our discussions tend to segue into the thing that is important for the moment.
Yeah, because it is wow.
Yeah, but well,
Administration of justice.
I want to, as the producer's mic is getting warmed up, because we're talking about social control and
social contract.
and the
we deal with each other.
The covenant.
The covenant, yeah.
I want to is that place that is specially curated for you to engage in meaningful conversation at the start of the day, so that you can have the right mindset and position your heart in the way we're looking for good spiritual positioning to engage with the challenges and the tasks of the day.
Issues of the day.
The issues of the day. And the issues of the day mean the larger issues on the national or international stage, whichever one you stand on, as well as what's happening in your personal life. Self-discipline.
That's most important.
And empathy. Yeah. Self-control and empathy are big ticket items in these days. What did you want to say, Mr. Producer, on the subject of the policing debate? It gone out of your head?
I think the time has passed, but I just say it nonetheless that a lot of the times it's not even so much the law or the rule that you put in place, but it's the ability to
enforce it. Yes,
and that is where we have the problems. You talk about the taxis, for example, in the mornings, people parking in that lane right by the bus park.
Yes, as we're coming down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only
just
time
cut across,
the only time it's empty, is when the police is not there.
When the police is there?
When the police is there, rather. Sorry. When the police is there, it's empty.
Yes.
But other than that, it is just another lane to park. And I guarantee you, if they said to them that, okay, it's fine to park in that lane, you'll find them taking the other
another lane.
So it is, it's just how we behave as a people. And I mean, it is a difficult thing because you don't have the resources to police it. And at the same time, the change needs to take place.
You could put a camera on it and just censure anybody. They get like demerits on their PPV license. That's really where you need to hit them. You need to strip away monitoring. No, man, you just download technology. We now have to. There's a big issue about how we integrate technology in maintaining social order. You pull off the record and you see, okay, these are the taxes. Each person get a point. At the end of the month, you're down 10 points. You're off the road for a week. Argument done.
Maybe because it's there now. My daughter pointed out to me that there's a site that you
yes.
can go on
in
and
Jamaica
and look at Half-Way Tree.
Yeah,
she said, Daddy, you know that? I said, really? She said, all of the things that are happening there, you don't have to go far. There's such a site.
But you do know that there are some of these guys out there driving without a valid license.
Yeah, we know that too.
You know
so
that.
The policing,
suspended license, all sorts of different things.
Like this guy that they found, they kind of caught up with him. And this is my son reporting this to me like earlier in the year. He says they stopped the vehicle and the man says, which one of the license I can use again? I said, what did you say, my son? Him say, this is what he overheard.
The driver muttering.
They're saying, which one of the license I use? Say, blocks.
That the mistrust that exists between citizens and state organizations or state authority, because to Lowell's point, if you say you can park in this lane, they immediately choose another lane. So they don't believe that this permission to park for you to park here is giving you any kind of advantage. The fact that government say you can park here means that the real advantage is in another lane. I'm interpreting.
Yeah, that's what
because,
it means.
Yes, because you see, just the way we say that in matters of economics, man is a logical, rational creature. Whatever he does has some logical, some reasoning behind it that places him in a position of perceived advantage. So it must mean that when you say, all right, you've been idling in this lane forever. So this is where you like to be. I make it legitimate. The minute you make it legitimate, it loses its appeal. Why is that? It must mean that you believe that this man who legitimizes it don't mean me well.
Okay.
If him say it's good for me, I gotta head in the next direction.
Yeah, because it now with the trust,
absolute lack of trust.
Yeah, but somebody related. This is something actually happened in Jamaica. So they were having an event, and he was trying to see how you could get in without paying. So him do all the things and get in, and the man look and the gate was open. It was free.
Free.
And I'm going, that's a kind of mindset that people have. You see a gate, you don't even check to find out if this is free. The man do everything to break it, the gate, as we'd call it. And the man says a free event, you can come in free. It's mindset,
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah,
mindset.
because really we do not expect to get anything good for free.
Okay.
So if it's something desirable going on behind there, you are expecting that somebody is gonna require an arm and a leg for you to gain
a kidney
and for you to gain entrance. So you'll pull out all the stops, and chances are when you're going there now, you get dissatisfied because all in your mind say, "Oh, this free." So something not going on here. So now they're waiting to give me the Kool-Aid. I know it. I'm not drinking anything. Something because, and then now let's make it racial because black people don't get things for free.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The history of oppression.
So it goes back to our point. Back to feel of the mind.
Everything goes
go back to the mind, your
Yeah.
perception.
So much so, I have gone back to January 5th when we talked about the declarations for the nation, which I committed to repeating from time to time. These are the declarations which I drafted personally, so they have my spirit in it. The first one being a declaration that no longer shall the princes and leaders of the land abuse and oppress the people. That would be us. Don't abuse and oppress us. Meaning an opening up of the gates, a letting go of the benefits that should flow from leaders to people. Bearing in mind that the leaders don't improvise themselves. Let's put it that they don't make themselves. They actually are permitted in the order of things to ascend to certain positions of authority and wealth and control, because they in that position should be a blessing to the people who are under their care and control, however you want to look at it. And we're going to come back to that just to see how in the end that righting of the balance always takes place. So if you are in a position of leadership today and you are not dispensing good things, just understand that you will be held accountable and you will get as good as you gave. Right. So that's the first declaration, putting our leaders on notice. The second declaration was achievement. Declare it to be so. And the third one, which is the big one for me, is that the administration of justice in every sphere of life shall be freed from the limitations of cynical and on into the bellies of every man and woman.
Okay.
That we be refreshed. I'm adding to it.
All right.
This is my segue into the two big items that we want to talk through and then hopefully engage our callers on it.
Right.
Pastor Percival, thank you so much for sending me the
education task
the
force.
Big education task force.
One is 356 and one was 240 something.
And what I especially liked is that you sent me the 2004 one. Can you imagine? 2004?
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of things that are in 2004.
that are repeated in 2022.
Yeah.
2022 impressed me with the scope of the recorded or the recorded scope, whichever one it is, of the consultation and the wide cross section of persons who were involved. I was certainly very heartened to see a diversity of ethnic mix positions, the voices that came to bear on it. And it was a mix of persons from the diaspora as well as from the local. And I love the fact that it went deep into some of the principals of the schools all over the country. The 2004 report, the Ray Davis Commission, was 14 persons, and they listed the 14, and that was it. I'm sure more voices were there, but you didn't get a feel of the depth of the consultation which took place. This 2021 report covered all the areas that you would expect. I have some sweet spots that I want to bring to the attention of our listeners, because those areas contain opportunities for engagement.
Before you go on, because I just want to continue with the declarations, because and we declare in the Jamaican Parliament, the government of the Kingdom of God will establish over and above every other rule and dominion, every all alignment of power, of greed, of a political spirit, that justice, righteousness, and kingdom plan will arise above personal preference, political gain, and every other agenda. Will arise, transforming personal and political agendas, that men and women across both parties will work for the common good, uniting behind God's given purpose and vision for Jamaica. And we know what that Jamaica under God may increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. And we declare that over our country this morning. So even as we look at education, which is a major pillar, and I sent it to you, and I said to myself,
did you read it?
No, I didn't read it as yet, because it was a busy weekend. But my friend, and I must big up my friend, we went to school together, and he's very passionate about Jamaica and education. He sent something to me, and I said to him, boy, we don't have the political will to do it. And him said, we? I said, we, it must be we, because if we don't take responsibility for what it is, my friend Milton Maraj, who is very passionate about Jamaica and what we can do. So thank you, Milton, for just sharing it with me, and we'll continue the conversation about Jamaica, because we remember that we have come up through the educational system. We have come from lower or middle class background, and this is what has made us today. So we are passionate about bringing about the change, that the generations that are coming after us will thank us for what it is we've done in terms of bringing about a change. Yeah.
All right. So I'm at page 279 of 346. Used to do. And I just wanted to get enough of it to share the highlights. I'd always, as you know, we've been blessed with a certain degree of insight into things to come and things that. So absolutely. I had referred to the World Bank report on the wealth of nations.
Correct.
And they had targeted the things we had targeted as areas for growth. They emphasized that investment in the social services, education, health would give us the greatest growth. And we also saw from another report, this was an IDB report, emphasizing that if we are able to make the necessary investment in the infrastructure for technology, meaning communications technology, ICTs, information, communication technologies, if we're able to make the requisite level of investment, it can boost our GDP by, I think, like 12 percentage points or something like that,
So
to the order. Double digits.
5 to 10, if you deal with crime and violence,
Mhm.
they grow, and then you put that in. So we
Put
could
in,
grow. Can you
yes.
imagine our economy going by about 17 to 22%?
All possible.
Possibly, if we do the
All
right
possible.
things. Yeah.
By making the right moves. So you see two things happening: a greater investment in greater social investment,
Which is the people.
investing in things affecting people, education being the biggest one, and health and safety issues being right there on the list. Embedding technology, putting money into infrastructure for technology so that people can perform better in this digital environment, being a second high priority direction for any country. And in particular, we actually, in our situation, would benefit more dramatically from those investments than advanced countries, which could only be getting incremental growth because they already have such a strong foundation.
Right.
But for us, it would be transformative. It would be the kind of quantum leap that we dream about when we look at economies like Singapore and so on, the Asian tigers of the day. So here we are. We will spend some time in it because it's important, I think, that many people find a place for themselves in these discussions and begin to take action coming out of it. So we can't rush it. Good morning, Earl Brown. I see Earl is asking a question about our streaming. We are, in fact, perhaps someone could just answer online, so I'm not taking too far off beat. All right, so there are a couple problems. No, I should never use that word.
Opportunities.
There are a couple things that I want to comment on in the report. You will see if you look at the report. Is the report available on the Ministry of Education website?
It should be because it's official release. Yeah.
Right. So it's been officially released. As you know, it was a commission, and you know that commissions report to Parliament. So the report ought to be tabled, and once tabled, it should be available for public consumption. Though on the report itself, it says it is a draft, not to be quoted until it is finalized. So that's what it says in the version you sent me. So I don't know if all of that means. But suffice it to say, there are three things I want to highlight for discussion. One is that the report has pulled its primary objective, I think, from the UNESCO's formulation of, I think, the role of education, reformatting it. And I was dissatisfied with that one because UNESCO has said that education is to give children an opportunity to learn and to come out of the learning process. I'm paraphrasing, and to come out of the learning process with the requisite skills to find, like it said, meaningful work. To find work. Find. That's the problem I have.
No, to create work.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all we need to train.
Thank you.
To create.
I only had to say it twice.
To find,
Thank you.
Find work.
So I said, okay.
Which is what I said to my friend. Education system has prepared our people to work. We move from the plantation, but the same mindset still exists in terms of how we train our people, educate our people to move forward. Yeah.
Right. So they're using UNESCO's formulation, which is to have people find work.
But you know, we never go down the road still this morning, you know, in terms of UN and all the agencies,
the politics and
the politics of what they are trying to do to us. But anyway, leave it at that.
The second thing is, so our perspective is to prepare our children to create, to create, and in creating, to provide opportunities for others to become engaged in meaningful employment and fulfill, whatever ambitions. So I could have rewrite that one. I was too tired to attempt a rewrite.
No, rewrite.
But
open up discussion.
For discussion. What is it that you want your education? So that's the question I would pose to our listeners, and our listeners always have deep. they think deep. So I'm dissatisfied with a system that's preparing my child to find work, especially when they come out and can't find any. I want them to have the skills and the confidence to create, because we want to become manufacturers and producers, not just consumers. That's the shift we're looking for.
Yeah.
The second was the commission said they searched in futility for a clear articulation of the philosophy underpinning our education or the methodology, which I know they never found it. And I had looked myself before even knowing that the commission was about to publish their report, because when we looked at that sixth form transformation pathways issue, I was troubled by it. And as we have been conceiving of our own remedial intervention program, we had to settle on philosophy. Time for us to take our break. It's 7:05. When we return, we'll continue the discussion, and I hope you will join us.
Take a break.
We'll be right back.
Talking about transportation, transporting the past, the present, and the future generation. Whether taxi, private vehicle, or bike, your 2 bicycle wheel, them are a hike. Listen up, we go coulda young or you old. Up on the bus, cause we are on the road.
The safety of public transportation is only as strong as the level of knowledge and competence of operators in the sector. Realizing this, the Transport Authority has partnered with Edufocal Business Limited and the British Caribbean insurance company BCIC to launch an app to improve the training of public passenger vehicle PPV operators. Let's find out how it works. I am Jeremy Lee Nelson. Come make we do road. The training app, called Transport Authority PPV Driver Train, will be made available to approximately 82,000 operators in the PPV sector, as well as in the commercial sector. It will facilitate training using a gamified format to improve knowledge of the road code and promote defensive driving and customer service among operators. The app was developed at a cost of approximately $13 million, with $3 million of that sum being provided by the Transport Authority and the balance by main sponsor BCIC.
It's part of the human condition and human psychology that we get used to risks that we encounter every day. But the commuter who gets into a taxi or a bus puts their life and livelihood into the hands of that vehicle's driver. And that commuter implicitly trusts that the institutions that give those taxis and buses the ability to operate on the roads, the Transport Authority, the police, the insurance companies, to name just a few, have taken the necessary steps to minimize the risks and to make the experience of that commuter safe and efficient and even pleasant.
Managing Director of BCIC, Peter Levy. The Driver Train web browser application was developed by Edufocal Limited with a designated mobile app to be rolled out in the coming months.
The application is currently a web application. It will be accessible at tappvtrain.com. We'll be onboarding thousands of drivers on the application, and before the end of March 2022, we will have native applications on both Android and iOS. When a driver goes to ppvtrain.com, entering the application is very easy. All you need to put in is your TRN number or your receipt number for your badge purchase, and you'll be able to access the application.
Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Edufocal Limited, Gordon Swaby. He says the app will also allow the Transport Authority to track the performance of drivers on a second-by-second, minute-by-minute basis.
Any driver, thousands of drivers, they'll be able to know how that driver is performing. We're launching with a number of courses: defensive driving, maintaining professionalism, delivering quality customer care, and a number of other courses. So it is something where if you're going through a particular course and you have to leave your house or you have to do something else, you can pause it, and when you go back to it, you'll be resuming from where you left off. Or if you want to refresh your memory, you can start over.
Among the game features of the app is a spin game, where drivers will spin a virtual wheel and be asked different questions based on what they have covered so far. There is also no cost to use the application.
Of course, each driver will have their own profile, so data is being collected on each driver. And where we'll eventually get to is that we'll be able to quickly identify the deficits of the respective driver and offer additional support to the driver. Of course, this is accessible from any internet-enabled device, and it is going to be zero rated on both the Flow and Digicel network. What I mean by that is, all you need is a smartphone. You don't need to have an active plan. You just need to have the phone and you can access it at no cost to you.
Co-founder and Chief Executive Officer of Edifoca Limited, Gordon Swaby. And that's where we're going to let you off for the road this week. Remember to help Jamaica meet its vaccination target by getting vaccinated if you haven't already done so. I am Jeremy Lee Nelson, and until next time, you coulda walk, ride, take taxi or bus. Do your best to keep safe while you do road.
The countdown begins. 2022 will be extra special. Reigniting. It's going to be big.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love this station. I think it's great.
My station.
Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Fast FM, keep listening.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
We are something special on the road.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
The best 100 FM.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
Best 100 FM encourages everyone to wear their mask, wash hands, and practice social distance. Vaccine is
This is your late afternoon companion to Shikalu on your 100 FM dial. Make sure you tune in and turn up every Tuesdays from 5 until 7 p.m. for OTAWTL. That is on the ear with me, yours truly, a program that will leave you inspired, entertained, and informed. With the credit giveaways each week. Street Link, where we go in the streets to find out from people what is hot and what is not, and so much more. And guess what? You can now voice your birthday shout-outs on our WhatsApp line at 876-438-9442, and we'll play them live on air. So what are you waiting for? Turn up Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Best 100 FM, the station that is sizzling every day.
And more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. Thank you for sticking with us. Your hosts, Minette and Percy, having a deep dive of a sort into the education report. We really are giving you the highlights. I've read through like 3/4 of it, I think. And pulled enough to start a conversation. But for those who are interested in getting deeper into what you can expect to see, we are all going to be part of the team holding our administration or leaders, the ministry, accountable for the implementation of the recommendations from this report. It's a report that was commissioned by the government, I would say possibly at no small cost. It was a very extensive process of consultation and research and so on. So I believe that the output of it is something that should not be ignored, like the previous report in 2004. Many of the recommendations, considered to be good recommendations, were not implemented. But here we have another report, brand new, under the esteemed leadership of Orlando Patterson, son of Jamaica and brilliant writer. And I'm telling myself that I see his pen at work in the phraseology. It's an easy to read report with a very humanistic tone. You know, it doesn't read like a technical report at all.
Oh, that's good. Because I'm a sociologist by training.
Yeah, but I'm a brilliant author too.
Yes, I know. My mother or father.
Children of Sisyphus. He is Children of Sisyphus, right?
I'm not so sure.
All right, I'll have to pick up titles by Orlando Patterson. But anyway, Jamaican writer, sociologist.
He's at Harvard, right?
I don't remember which college he's at. Those things don't really. I didn't take note. I know him more as a writer, so of course. All right, so
Harvard University.
Yeah, very well written. What are some of the books he has written? I know. Did he write Banana Bottom? Or he wrote a book that was set in the shanty town.
So his fiction is Children of Sisyphus is a novel. An Absence of Ruins, a novel 1967. Died the Long Day novel 1972. And then he's done like
all right, so Children of Sisyphus is the one that I've read. I think there's a character named Minette. And she was a prostitute. Oh, much teasing I got. Minette, the prostitute who took up with the Rasta man. And Minette took up with a Rasta man. I think.
So he was predicting some things. But he's the ordeal of integration, rituals of blood, consequences of slavery into American centuries, freedom in the modern world, the culture and makes understanding black youth. And going on, the confounding island, Jamaica and the post-colonial predicament. He wrote that in 2019.
All right, so he's a man who have a deep understanding of our history and the continued pain of it. The truth is, it is his authorship of the report that interested me. I think maybe if it was somebody else, I wouldn't have paid it as much attention as I have. But let's give Earl Brown some love. He says, where I am, we're having a bad snowstorm. Oh, this is the snowstorm that is slated to affect 100 million people. When your program is finished today, I will have to go and clean snow off my driveway. This snow plow already blocked my driveway.
Was it a move through?
Earl Brown, how many flights a day to Jamaica? Welcome home, Earl Brown. You can come and when the snow melts, you go back. You really think we needed that report with all of the teachers, speaking on the issues that we have? And he has a daughter in sixth form, and he knows most of the problems without this report. He says, kiss my teeth. But you know what? That's why I said the government paid a fortune, I am sure, to get this report done. And it is here. Let us hold them accountable. They said they needed it. A lot of us outside, like you're not really outside the system, and I'm a parent. But a lot of us see from our vantage point what is going on, and we apply the thought, and like my brother in Toronto, we see what some of these problems are. But I guess government has its way of doing things, and they've decided, almost 20 years after the first report, 18 years, and they've decided that a commissioned report is necessary to get the ball rolling. So let us hold their feet to the fire and get it done. However, the first thing they need to check, in my view, is this business of preparing our children to come out and find work. We don't want no picnic walk come out and find work. We want children who, when they leave school, they have the tools, the skills, the confidence more than anything else to create and to produce and to provide opportunities for collaboration. I am very specific on my choice of word. In the brick, I wrote down what I want to see, and I speak it into being. What we want is an environment where our children, our thinkers are collaborating, not competing, because when you have to find work, have you ever seen people going out to seek things? It's a competition. It's a crab in a barrel thing.
Have you ever seen it?
It's a competition.
Have you gone down to Duke Street
and seen the lines?
Minister of Labor overseas program and how the people behave, and see, I've seen it first, and I've been in there.
So it's not a collaboration. That's what you're saying. But just dream with me. Let's have an environment in which when the kids come out, they're able to work together. Someone had given me a video. Don't know if it is anecdotal, but I will share the highlights of it. It was a video of a speech being made by an African professor addressing graduates, and he was, motivating the troops by giving an account of how the simple game of charades is played in different, in the Japanese society versus how we played. How we played, people are running around a chair. When the music stops, whomever has no seat leaves the game. So you're competing for the chairs. In
musical chairs.
Yes. Oh, charades is the other one?
Is a card game.
Okay. Musical chairs.
Right.
Thank you. So the person who has no chair loses. In Japan, the person who has no seat loses. So there is what you must...
No seat?
Yes. So everybody must find a way to sit. So they sit in each other's lap.
Oh, seat. Okay,
Yeah.
chair. Okay.
Chair, yeah.
So that means that the game never finishes.
Well, it finished with everybody because you have to. If I'm standing now, you pull me down. You pull me. You put me on your lap, basically.
Okay.
And when you're standing, I have an incentive to give you a seat. So it forces teamwork.
I know, but if it plays that game, because remember, you start with 20 chairs. So, all right, so you start with 10 chairs.
Please don't
10
take me
people.
through 20 or 10 chairs.
No, 5 chairs. You start with 5 chairs.
Yeah, let's get the moral of the story. We can find the video. However the game is played, it forces people to work together.
Okay,
So
if
I
you
think
take out
maybe
a
that
chair,
you work in teams.
If you take out a chair, that means there are 4 chairs and 5 people, and
Yes.
somebody sit down in somebody's lap.
Right.
So if you take out another chair,
Then
there
you have
are
to fit
3
on-
chairs
yes.
and 2 chairs. So
Right.
so we end up with everybody sitting
Everybody
in
is
sitting
sitting
in
in-
everybody's
yes.
lap.
Right.
That must be interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But making the point, and whether he was making it up or not, but he was creating a mind picture
Yes. Mhm.
of what it looks like when you are competing as opposed to when you are cooperating. And we, coming out of the history we've had, need to find ways to cooperate, to collaborate, to work together. And that, I think, should be an output, a major objective of the education experience.
Yeah.
Where we teach people
There's
to
an
collaborate
African
instead
expression
of
for
to
that,
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yeah.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu, yeah.
I just read your mind.
Yes, yes. Ubuntu, yes.
Yeah.
I
So
know
I think that should be an output. The second thing I was touching on now, they could not find a philosophy, an articulation of the philosophy underpinning the delivery of education in Jamaica. But said they, when they look at all that we're doing, it does appear that we are too teacher-centric. And we need to move to a format that is more collaborative, a more collaborative environment where all the stakeholders are engaged, the students, the teacher, the parents, and the public sector, those outside of the narrow school environment, which is very much in keeping with what we say here concerning community involvement, ownership, and leadership of the things that are critical.
Yeah, in some communities, my experience has been that they can mash down, can tear down everything else, but don't
touch the school.
Don't touch our school.
Yeah.
Don't
And
touch
you see the communities gutted and in pain when somebody goes into a school and thief the desk or the TV or the worse pain than when you attack the church, because as far as they're concerned, you're taking from the very future and lifeblood of the community. So that business of owning it at the closest point to the student is critical in our thinking, and it seemed to have found a place also in the review. Now, I'm sharing it with our listeners because I think that you need to find your place in that relationship to see how you can be a part of it, what contribution you can make to influence what's going on there. The third thing is, philosophy is the second, which means they said they did ask, like, parents and students what they expect out of the system. Many of you were no doubt never a part of that discussion. So here's your chance to be a part of it. But beyond that, to pick a spot for yourself and see what contribution you can make. So the philosophy is one of collaboration. Now, if that's the philosophy, you would expect to find it in the primary aim, which is why I said don't send out children to find work. Send them out to create and to produce and to collaborate, because you really can't get that going without working together. The other thing is they placed an emphasis on social emotional learning.
Emotional intelligence?
No, learning. They maybe it amounts to the same thing, but it's learning, because sometimes the intelligence is there, but it's not active.
In psychology, we call it mindfulness. We're in a lot of countries now.
Yes.
They are teaching. It's
infused.
Yeah. It's infused in their thing.
Which is so there is an emphasis on that, and that is directly responsive to the situation of extreme crime and violence, wanting to ensure that the children who are coming in bruised and battered from the different home environment that have been oppressive and dysfunctional, that those children are being educated in a context that allows them to live as better human beings, more empathetic, more sensitive to the things that are happening around them, better able to collaborate and function in an interdependent way. So social emotional learning is a big part of it. On the flip side of that, it can't be just the children developing the sensitivity. I think you now have to deepen the engagement with parents, because they go back into homes and communities that continue to be dysfunctional, and they, in their small way, can't overcome all of that without the help and participation of the adults. And the last thing I want to touch on before we take the break is there is a big segment in it on how to finance education.
And that continues to be. And my simple thoughts on it, as we've said, and everybody says it, the early years of learning is where you must put most of your money, which is why in countries like in Norway, the Scandinavian countries, you have people with PhDs who are teaching in, we'd call it middle school or primary school or kindergarten, because they go after that, and that is why you see the results you are seeing. They focus on that in Norway, Finland, those places.
Yes, and that's another thing too. In the report, they give some, comparables, and they give you an analysis of what's happening elsewhere that you could possibly borrow from. On the business of financing education, we mentioned earlier that there has been recommendations coming from elsewhere that investing in education as a social service is one of the hot ticket items. You will get your return if you make that investment. So when you look at how the education system in Jamaica is financed, there are some opportunities. for the private sector, even for parents, because as they talk about collaboration, greater engagement, stakeholder engagement, and a more collaborative approach, you will find that you can begin to interact, engage with the schools in your communities to see what kind of partnerships are available between.
That's in terms the importance of the PTA. When you talk of,
yes,
as a former PTA president of a
so
primary.
I have to mention that because one of the things that the report recommends is a decentralizing of the power blocks that are in the ministry to enable greater autonomy at the local level. So the school board becomes more important, and maybe even the communities, stakeholders in the communities where schools are located, because as they talk about the social emotional learning and this greater interaction between student and school and environment, you see opportunities for internships and mentorship programs and work study programs. And they did a piece on stackable degrees and micro credentialing, which is something that is very attractive, similar to how you talk about flexible work hours in the labor market. In the world of education, you can have persons who are doing work study programs where they are earning their degrees in increments that are managed and managed under a partnership between the private sector and the school.
It makes a lot of sense, but I don't want us to the importance of PTAs in the mix. Under the Education Act of 1980, PTAs are on every school board. But some of the times I wonder, you see, they spoke about it being teacher focused, teacher friendly. The greatest stakeholder in any school is the student and the parent.
Yes.
But you don't get that from a lot of interactions I've had. You do what we say. And even to get functional PTAs, some of the times the principals block that.
And it seems like we won't get that for a while because the same way teachers have to be trained to be of good service and value in the sector, parents themselves need a certain level of awareness. And we are complaining that the students lack that emotional intelligence. It's coming out of the homes. So there's a certain degree of preparation that needs to take place, and that's one area in which the report doesn't go into that. But if you read it and you read it with understanding and you're looking for opportunities, then you must know that somebody has to say, you know what, I'm gonna do something that can engage the parents and bring up their awareness so they can be better partners in the PTA. All right, let's take our break. We'll be right back. At some point,
we'll be right back.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection. I have to share a comment that one of our listeners has put on the live chat. And it just goes to the heart of what I was saying concerning the vision and what we're seeking to get from our education system. This listener says, can you believe these guys think Jamaican youths have no future, only to come be their gardeners, lifeguard, maid, store clerk, yard boy, and so on? And that is what we're still fighting. We're still fighting the mentality in certain quarters that our children, that our children are to be educated to come out and hunt them down and beg them for work. Absolutely not. We fight against that continued spirit of oppression. So that goes to the first declaration that says the leaders and princes of the land do not oppress. Cut that out.
But my friend who sent me that
declaration.
One of the declaration who sent us the report.
Oh, the report.
We were having a discussion. Let me see if I can find the discussion online. Go ahead.
Yeah, while you look for that. Yeah. The question of how we finance education. Now, one of the first things, and this, I'm not speaking against the report, but most of you have heard me speak on this before. Our Constitution limits subsidized or free tuition, free education to, what is the age again, Pastor? 12. 12. What the heck can you come out and do at 12? So everything beyond that is at the discretion of the government. So to me, I don't want to rely on your benevolence. I want to know it is my right, my entitlement. So amongst the many pieces of legislation that were targeted for amendment and overhaul, not one mention was made of the Constitution. Would you believe that?
Yeah.
And for me, that's the foundation of things. When you are looking at services that the government is obliged to give to citizens, the first place you start is your Constitution. It just seems logical to me. But they were doing the Education Act, the code, every type of subsidiary legislation and regulations. And they were talking, just far and wide about, they went up to tertiary education, which take you past age 12.
Mm-hmm. That's few and far between.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I just was saying the comment. He saw the Facebook online and he says, oops, we're talking about the report that was released. And I said to him, we do not want an educated pop. We want to continue the plantation system of Syria. It's not doing anything new. Do we have the political will to implement such a change? Why do you say we? Who are we? I personally want to say a highly educated. This is my friend. And I'm sure you do. Sure. And he says, all the people, all of the former prime ministers. I say, yeah, but we need to demand more for our leaders. So one of the things with this fantabulous report that has been released, we're going to have to demand our leaders, meaning the opposition, the government, to ensure that this thing is implemented. And not only implemented, because in implementation, you need resources.
Well, interestingly, we spend about $30 billion a year on education. And that is...
Third biggest.
Yeah, that is more than enough, says the Commission. For the things that need to be done, enough money is there. Enough money was being spent. It's simply that we are not getting value for the money that we are putting out. So they said as far as budgetary allocation goes, we don't need to make fresh allocation. What we need to do is use the money better. In fact, when they ranked the level, based on GDP contribution to education, Jamaica was at the top in terms of what we are spending on education.
Percentage of GDP?
Yeah, for countries like this. I didn't go to look at their list of the countries they use, but I think they mean emerging economies or developing economies. Jamaica was at the top in our spend. In our spend.
There were top-heavy structure in education.
Yeah, that tells you that the money is, so I'm working my way to the second area we're going to discuss before we open the lines. So in the business of education, we're spending enough, we're just not getting the desired output. And they recommended decentralizing the power blocks that sit in the Ministry of Education. Let me tell you, in the report, about 4 pages of the report, 4 or 5 pages are taken up with explaining the different acronyms and, the different abbreviations and the network of institutions. The minute there's a problem, somebody create a commission or a foundation or I mean, we just keep making up agencies and different structures to manage something which we are getting wrong and which there's no cause for us to get it so horribly wrong. All right. On the business of finance, but when you look at the recommendations they're making to achieve this greater collaboration between student, teacher, parents, and business sector or society, it means that parents need to contribute some, government need to contribute something. This is to the cost of education now. The students need to carry their weight, not necessarily a financial one. And the society needs to step in. The society steps in through funding internships, mentorship programs, work study programs, and I think you can get as innovative as you like. It certainly means that if you are a big business or if you're a chamber of commerce and there are 5 or 6 schools in your region, you can immediately begin to put together some kind of proposal on how you can interact with the school and add value beyond, give funding the 1-1 scholarship and picking out high performers from the herd and creating an even more intense arena for competition. We're looking at collaboration. So I would encourage private sector entities.
Need to do it.
In a
yes, coordinated
because you're now seeking to take some of the burden and pull some of the power off what exists in government, in ministries, it has to be coordinated. One of the things they make a heavy weather of is engagement and accountability, right? So the recommendations are in distinct silos, but they've said for any one recommendation to work, it has to be implemented interdependently with the recommendations in the other silos. So that's the report, the structure of it. You already know the 2 big things that I think parents and interested parties should think about are, 1, what is the philosophy that should underpin education and what services we're offering? What drives our system? What do you want to see come out on the other side? You're planting a seed today. You need to know what you want to see come out so you can choose what seeds to plant.
And just to comment on that, while I served as president of the PTA at a prominent high school, I asked a question of the administration. A student comes in grade 7 at this. What are the inputs that you need to put in? So at the end of it, and we had a model of what that student must look like. And it has to be intentional. It can't be here on scare on.
Yeah.
It's the same. So in terms of philosophy, that question in terms of what is the general philosophy of what we do as a country in terms of our educational system need to be agreed upon by everybody, so we know when something is going off and we hold people accountable.
Right.
To say
so
that
you have corrective measures being taken
so
along the way all the time.
Along the time. We don't do a lot of that in this
No, we
community.
don't. Not for anything.
Yeah.
Not for anything. Sad to say. Oh, they also said that our lowest level of investment was at the early childhood level. Can you imagine? And it should be the greatest. And every indication is that worldwide, the best result is when you start at as early as possible. A statistic they quoted, which just blew my mind. In 10 years of its existence, the institution that should inspect and certify early childhood institutions has not issued one certificate.
Of what?
Of registration. Not one place that you see taking pre-Kindle.
I'm not sure about that.
Let me tell you, they have been giving permits and extending the permits. So they have not issued, in 10 years, they have not issued one certificate.
That's what period is that? Because I know we got permits.
In 10 years, no, yes, but permit is not the certificate.
We got permits, but in terms of the certification.
They don't, no, because they say they don't have the infrastructure or the tools for final certification. So they give you a permit and they keep extending it.
I'm surprised at that. Because
Well, I told you, it
remember,
blew my mind. Have you ever seen a certificate?
Yeah, because...
Have you ever seen a certificate?
Yeah.
Not a permit,
Yeah, that's important because the permit and then they would have a, you need to do this, do that. And the last time, one that I'm familiar with, they had about 99% of what was needed. I say, if you do this, then you're good to go. So I don't know what has happened subsequently.
Oh, so you have not seen a certificate?
No.
You would make a poor witness.
You keep telling me that.
It must be true. The people in the report said that no certificate issued because they don't have the apparatus or the infrastructure for that to inspect. Because apparently you have to be inspecting on a particular cycle in order to confirm with finality. Anyway, so early childhood education is it would sound to me now like it is a place that you can definitely make some real significant and important intervention. So what they find is that you have a lot of places that will take your kids, but they're not feeding them, they're not nurturing and educating them to the standard. Because it's just a creche, a place to drop off the kids so mommy can go work.
I'm not sure.
So that
I'm
was
gonna have to check, make some calls around.
Look at the report. Don't.
What was the peer they were speaking? What the peer they were talking about?
Look at the report.
Okay, all right.
What it's because it's up to, I think it's up to, if not 2017, it's up to 2019. This report is up to 2019. They're dealing with 2019 stats,
Okay,
and they have the tables on it. Huh?
So I'm just thinking subsequent
to 2019,
you would have probably had certificates issued. I don't know.
But doesn't it still bother you that 10
does,
years after a place is created, it not issue no certificate?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I know the things you have to go through: police record for everybody, fire permit.
But that's to have the place. Okay.
Yeah.
That's to be set up anyway. There's no doubt that like they told you how many places applied to be approved for early childhood
certification.
Right. So we're not short of people wanting to do it, but to have the quality of the quality education and instruction and so on is a whole different matter. And we have not invested the requisite monies in that space.
I know that the Minister of Education have this brain enhancement project that have been taking on Early Childhood Institute and trying to bring them up to par in terms of giving funding and so on. That's a recent initiative, like about 2017, 18.
So we're not seeing no fruit from that yet.
Yeah, not as yet, So the brain builders.
Not true, but not true. If you're right that we've been doing some surgical interventions, 2017, 18. Those kids now we should see them coming out of PEP or GSAT, shouldn't we? Yet the performance has been getting more dismal.
Because now with that they're asking for
the numbers don't lie. So if what you're saying adds up, then the money they have spent there has not produced the requisite a desirable fruit at all, because up to 2019 they are showing performance in PEP and GSAT or GSAT PEP, and they're showing low percentage passes in math and English in particular. And you're still seeing that great and increasing gender disparity with girls outperforming boys at every level, right up to tertiary. And with the math and sciences, which used to be dominated by the men, the women are now carrying that particular baton. So there are some areas of deep concern in terms of the seeds we are sowing, what we are seeing coming out for the future. Needless to say, the time for intervention is now, and it requires every able-bodied person to take a position and lend a hand. I will tell you about our project. We have a project that starts tomorrow, but we're gonna talk about it in full tomorrow. It starts the first class is tomorrow, and we're excited about that because it's in the same space of the remedial learning, a project we talked about sometime last year, which we are very pleased to see it coming to life. And we'll tell you how you can participate and the support that we might require from the public. Now on to the next issue. Pastor, you had said the front page is taken up with business of law and order. I will do the segue. You can carry it. Sometime last year, we spoke about political parties as a tool.
True.
It was in response to, I think it was Mr. Smith. Derek Smith?
Yeah, Derek Smith.
Smith had come out saying that he felt he hadn't got fair treatment from the party. And I had posited the view that the political party is a tool through which persons aspiring to make a contribution do so. Yesterday's paper and today's the Gleaner, we see Mr. Paulwell coming out. I do understand because I wanted to speak with him on another issue on air. And when I invited him to join me, he said, give it a week or so because he had some matters coming out in the paper and he wanted that out of the way. He didn't want it to appear that he was, going ahead of his own, I guess, PR. I'm interpreting. Needless to say, I saw the first piece yesterday. The Gleaner wrote very sympathetically about his involvement in public life. I think he's celebrating 30 years, or if not celebrating, acknowledging 30 years, because a celebration is a different thing. It's been 30 years in politics for
he hasn't done
Mr.
anything
Paulwell.
else. He's a lawyer, but hasn't done anything else yet, really. He's a
other
lawyer,
than
he's a
politics?
trade, other than politics.
Yeah. Okay, and today on the front page, he's saying the PNP will pay for the state of emergency vote, and he makes the point that it was bad politics for the senators because they got past Parliament, and then when it went to the Senate for review, the government did not get 8 senators to give them the nod. Right. And he's making the point that it was bad politics for the People's National Party senators to initiative to.
So principle and politics don't work together. That's what you're saying.
Not me. What is he saying?
That's what it sounds like.
He says it may be a principled position, but it's bad politics to have denied the government the use of the one tool in which they have confidence. And he says his constituency is plagued by problems of violence, murders, and he can't tell them that this is the right principle. People want to see something else. It emphasizes, I think, the point that the politics of the situation oftentimes overwhelms the principle, the position. And I guess he says PNP will pay, meaning there will be a toll on the political side, because he seems to be concluding that Jamaicans will see the PNP as having prevented a strategy. I don't know. I'm halting in my language because I don't quite see the point, or maybe I don't quite agree with the point.
Or better not agree. You might see the point, but you're not agreeing with this point.
But I'm trying to articulate it as fairly as I can.
You're lost for words?
No, I said I'm what was my because I'm still speaking, so I'm not at a loss.
I'm repeating her this morning, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, I'm trying to be fair in representing what he's saying without, reading the article. But what do you think? Do you think that persons should do the politically expedient thing over and above?
It has not served us well since
political expedience.
Yeah, it has not served us well since independence, and probably it is time that somebody say draw bricks, wheel and come again to say.
Yeah.
I've learned in life that principle always wins over expediency, in the sense that when you do something based on a principle, it will guide you through the different situations that come. But when you just
surely you mean a principle that is morally sound.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Morally sound in regards to it. Because the thing with the state of emergency, and in 1980 where it started, and we said no, we can't use this, and we have not go to what you'd call the root of the problem in terms of you had said and you'd commented on when the Minister of National Security had made the comment in regards to
lock them up and find the evidence.
You understand?
Lock them up first and then find the evidence.
Yeah, and that cannot be right. We understand that people are dying and all of what is happening, but we have to find a way that is morally right and principled, that we are not only looking short term but long term in terms of solving the problem. One of the challenges I have with this gentleman is that he's been Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal for a long time.
Yes.
And what have you done over the years, Philip, in terms of dealing with the real situations that are on the ground?
Changing things on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What have you really done? You know, what have you really done? More could be said, but there are some fundamental things that you can do to bring about the change in terms of what will bring about the peace.
And we don't want, and we're moving away from short-term answers and short-term solutions, because if you had changed it fundamentally on the ground seasons ago, you wouldn't need to be explaining about principle. And I know personally that I do not want my security to be bought and paid for with the blood of some youngster who was already disadvantaged. I don't. First thing that would be, it means misery for families and people who were already dealt a bad hand. I don't want it. So the principle, I think the principle needs to be morally sound. There are some principles, as you know, a principle is just a law that governs how things work. And sometimes you have like, what is it now? The strong survive, which means the weak
and vulnerable
get left behind.
The poor, the vulnerable.
Brings me to my last point. Although it is the time for the break, let me make it very quickly. Do you remember, going into the Bible now, do you remember when Jacob was returning to his father's country and he was nervous that his brother Esau was going to, take his revenge? The strategy which he deployed, when he got near, he lined up the gifts. The gifts first. The 200 goat, whatever. And he separated them like a day apart. And he sent emissaries to go to Esau and say, I'm coming home. And these things these are gifts for you.
Trying to appease
and the
him.
messenger comes back and say, well, your brother is on his way and him have 400 men.
Which not Fred.
Which I interpret to mean just be prepared for anything.
Right.
But the tension was brought down each gift that passed. And Esau had to say, what's all this? Oh, your brother he's coming home. He's regretful. This is a gift for you. And this happened until there were goats, there were camels, there were donkeys.
A very rich man.
He was a rich man going home, and he had all these things. So what struck me as when he eventually met up with Jacob and said, what was all this? I saw these these herds going by. I just had a vision, Percy, of what we look like as a nation being led. And I realized that true leadership requires coverage of the flank and the rear position. It's not, once you set the course and the herd begins to move, by instinct, the animals follow each other. That's true. Instinct. But the shepherd, the herdsman, can only secure the entire herd if he's covering the flanks and the rear. True. Because he can't leave anybody behind. So I was looking at the quality of our leadership in terms of the position from which they lead and the care that they take for those who are vulnerable, who are on the side, who get tired and left behind, might be left behind. And it also gave me an understanding of why it is that so many things fail, because our leaders stay in the front. They are on top of things, well, at the helm of things. And they create all kinds of rich opportunities and structures. And when you look at the education ministry, listen, man, it's an alphabet soup. So many things are going on there. But the people on the side, at the back, in the middle who are getting trampled, nothing of the leadership is percolating to touch those who are suffering in the process. So there is a place in government where when you sit in that room, you think, oh, we are doing so much, we have it all covered. And it's like that in every ministry. You see a pot of oil or wealth at one spot, somewhere close to the front, and nothing is getting to the mass of people.
Wow.
And because it is the herd is moving, that pot is constantly moving at the front. So some people at the back never even know that it exists. Let's take our break. When we come back, we're going to open the line, so please stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
BBC News, I'm John Shea. The World Economic Forum has opened in Davos with a speech by the Chinese President Xi Jinping, in which he warned that global confrontation could have catastrophic consequences. Mr. Xi said history had proven that confrontation did not solve problems. Theo Leggett reports.
The Chinese president said humanity would move on from the pandemic. However, he warned that greater coordination between nations was needed, and richer countries should implement responsible economic policies to prevent their actions from harming developing regions. His comments came at a time of ongoing political and trade tensions between China and the United States. The Davos World Economic Forum in January usually allows a glittering array of business and political leaders to rub shoulders in the Swiss mountain resort. But the Omicron outbreak meant the in-person gathering had to be postponed and replaced for the moment with an online agenda.
The UAE says that 3 people have been killed and 6 others wounded by an explosion of fuel tankers in Abu Dhabi, which police say may have involved drones. The blast in an industrial zone, as well as a fire at a construction site at Abu Dhabi airport, came as the Houthi movement in Yemen said that it had carried out an attack on the UAE, which has played a key role in the Saudi-led coalition fighting the rebel group. Our Arab Affairs editor Sebastian Usher has more details.
Police in Abu Dhabi say that a Pakistani and 2 Indian men have died in the explosion of a fuel tanker truck. An investigation has been launched. Earlier, the police said that initial findings suggested that parts that might belong to a drone had been found at the site of the explosion, as well as at the fire at the airport. Earlier, the military spokesman for the Houthis in Yemen tweeted that an operation had been launched against the UAE, with details to follow in the coming hours. The reliability of this source has been questionable.
The former president of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, has appeared in court in Kiev to face allegations of high treason, having returned to the country from Poland. The court has adjourned as it considers whether to impose a measure of restraint on him. Here's our Europe regional editor, Danny Eberhard.
Petro Poroshenko faces these allegations of high treason. He's a formal suspect in this investigation. He's accused of collaborating with what investigators say are terrorists. It's a reference to pro-Russian separatists in the east of Ukraine. He's accused of having facilitated the purchase of millions of dollars worth of coal from that area that the rebels control. And the money from that purchase has been used to help finance the insurgency effectively. He denies those accusations. He says this is part of a political persecution.
Our Europe regional editor, Danny Eberhard. This is the latest world news from the BBC. International efforts to deliver aid to tsunami-hit islands in Tonga have been gathering pace as further information comes in from reconnaissance planes sent by the Australian and New Zealand military to assess damage. No mass casualties have been reported as a result of Saturday's huge volcanic eruption. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said the outer islands were a particular source of concern.
The flights undertaken today will help us establish what needs there might be, as will the ongoing communication with officials on the ground. At the same time, though, we know water is an immediate need. The Hercules will be able to, we hope, take off today in order to meet that need much more quickly than our Navy vessels will be able to reach the islands.
The United Nations Human Rights Commission says Taliban leaders in Afghanistan are institutionalizing gender-based discrimination and violence against women and girls. The UN said Taliban policies constituted a collective punishment. It said a strategy to exclude women from work and education was pushing them into poverty. Israeli police have been trying to dislodge members of a Palestinian family who've barricaded themselves on the roof of their house in the contested Sheikh Jarrah district in occupied East Jerusalem. The Jerusalem municipality has expropriated the land on which the house was built in order to construct a school. The jailed Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny has said he doesn't regret returning to Russia despite his imprisonment. It's a year since he flew back from Germany, where he'd gone for treatment after being poisoned with the nerve agent Novichok in Siberia. Writing on Instagram, Mr. Navalny told his followers not to be afraid of anything. The Serbian tennis star Novak Djokovic has arrived in Belgrade after his deportation from Australia, where he was hoping to defend his Open title. Djokovic left Melbourne on Sunday after losing a visa battle that centred on the fact that he's unvaccinated. And that's the latest BBC World News.
Youths, are you stressed? Are you faced with trauma? Well, this is the program for you. Join Royton McLaren for Youth Resilience and Empowerment every Monday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. on Best 100.5.
The station that makes you feel good.
I love this station. I think it's great.
My station. Moving.
My station.
Moving. Keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Best FM, keep listening.
One in. A hurricane we name. Are we rough? Whether we are man hurricane or woman hurricane. We want you to know that. We come here to mash up building, blow down things and take life. Flood out place. We no ramp. We no respect no one. So no take no chance with we. Listen to Adprem and prepare. Hurricanes do happen, so be prepared. Yes, be prepared.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Live the life. Respect the music. And keep your radio locked in.
The Best 100 FM.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100
Wagwan.
Guten Tag.
Buongiorno. We are
The Kingstones.
I think I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them. It's so amazing how I love you best of them because you're better than the rest of them.
This is your late afternoon companion to Chickaloo on your 100 FM dial. Make sure you tune in and turn up every Tuesdays from 5 until 7 p.m. for OTAWTL. That is on the ear with me, yours truly, a program that will leave you inspired, entertained, and informed. With the credit giveaways each week. Street Link, where we go in the streets to find out from the people what is hot and what is not, and so much more. And guess what? You can now voice your birthday shout-outs on our WhatsApp line at 876-438-9442, and we'll play them live on air. So what are you waiting for? Turn up Tuesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on Best 100 FM, the station that is sizzling every day.
Vegam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vegam Printers, your best choice in printing.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats. Best
Welcome back to the Morning Connection. We're probing each other's hearts at the moment. We have a probe going out because, as you know, yes. Oh, you know what? Let me say the numbers to be called so that our listeners can 762798473.
You know, as we open up the lines, one of the other things, we call for security blanket beyond SAV.
Mm-hmm.
Hospitals, Theta, PM firm argument done. There's a question I want to throw out there for persons to think, because my experience has been people are fully vaccinated, are being infected, and we see the numbers climbing every day. And my question to the Ministry of Education, are we checking to the people who are fully vaccinated if they are indeed now becoming infected again?
Yeah, okay, we have a call.
Yeah.
I won't forget your question. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Not cool. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Not bad. I wanted to call Thursday, but I didn't know those number.
Oh, the Thursday number.
With the gentleman?
Yes.
Okay. It's what, 36153 something or the other?
3616583.
That's the number.
That's Thursday's number. You want to write it down? 3616583.
I don't have a pen right now, and my memory don't work good at my age.
No, man,
so
we'll repeat
I'll
it.
wait. I'll wait for it later.
Yes.
What I call about now is that I wanted to tell you that Thursday to explain to the public what prosperity, the meaning of prosperity, and the meaning of progress. The two differentiate both meaning to the public.
Boy,
you want to tell us?
Yeah, you start with the difference that is significant to you.
No. I want you people to do it. I already.
No, man, you tell us, and then we'll you tell us, man, because we want to.
All right.
Okay.
Prosperity is like being rich right now.
Mm-hmm.
Rich. Progress, you have to produce or do certain things, to get rich.
Interesting.
That's what progress is all about.
You can be progressive and rich at the same time?
You have to prepare progress to get to prosperity.
Okay. So when those two slogans, political slogans came out, somebody says we are progressing to prosperity. What do you think?
Well, that should be the way to go, not prosperity first.
Okay.
All right.
What I'm saying, there's two different between both political parties. I think one is better than the other.
Okay.
And the other thing I'm talking about, no. I am a comrade, and I think Paulwell is trying to boost his what you call it now?
Political stocks?
His own ratings.
Yes. I think he should go on the other side, not being a PNP.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paulwell should leave the PNP and start his own party or go to the other side.
First, but as an attempt to put Paulwell before party and to make his own independent political move.
Right.
That's how you see it. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
All right. Well, you know that my view is that the political party is a tool, an instrument for participation in politics. So I don't put party first. I see it as a tool. I don't see it as requiring any greater loyalty than the loyalty that the people it seeks to serve should get. However, I take your point that if you are looking to participate in politics and you need to have a team around you and you speak outside of what the team is saying, then you need a new team.
You need to join a new team.
So I see what you're saying.
Carlos is one of the guys that is on the other side in the PNP party. He's always trying to divide the party.
Well, I don't know about always, but I see that he resigned. He and others resigned en bloc. So that tells its own story.
But the state of emergency does not work.
We know that.
It don't work.
But what to his point, he says, and this seems to be a party point, he says that for a political party to vote against an initiative that the government side thinks is critical to their success on an important issue like, crime and violence, safety in the society, when you know that it won't work. So even if you allow them to do it, it still won't work. Do you want to take the rap for stopping them from doing it and have them say, as they are now saying, were it not for the PNP voting against it, they would be well down the road into solving a problem? That's the point I think he's making, that the party will pay in political dollars for stopping the government pursuing a strategy which wouldn't work. Now, the problem I have with a position like that is the casualties, the people who pay for the failure of that strategy would be the men and women who are caught up in the execution of a state of emergency dragnet, whose rights would be violated to no good end, because we all say, based on past experience too, that states of emergency don't work.
Look, I was never a sellout anywhere I go. If something is wrong, it is wrong.
Yes.
Yes. I was on the farm working out, and my white boss asked me to spy on my own black workers. Even though they didn't like me, most of them didn't like me.
You refused.
I refused. But he get other guys to do it.
Yes, yeah.
And I know that. I refuse.
Well, sir, I applaud you for that. And, I share that view too. If it is the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do, whether you profit or not, and whether you like the people who will benefit or not. Yeah. All right. I know you're going to call me again, so wrap up for me so I can take the other call that's waiting.
That's all right. I'll call back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. I hope I find you both well.
We are well, sir. Thank you, sir.
The team, and the listeners and viewers. All right. I haven't read the article. I saw the headline. Mr. Paul is making joke. His point is very shallow. Right? If as the opposition, you think what is being sought to be done by the government is inadequate or wrong, we've had several trials and none of them have come out with any success. Right? He ought to explain in his party the reasoning and take it to another level. And further than that, with the support of the leadership in the party or the party as a whole, to talk to the nation, to say, look here, there are other options. We have some things in the bag or up our sleeve. We can only give a hint to it, but we need to talk to them when we have a chance to do it. I see if anybody is interested, because people are good will want to say, what are you talking about? Which card that you have up the sleeve?
All right, sir. I hear you. That sounds intriguing.
Well, yeah, but you can't. It's shallow and narrow. Yes. The reasoning. Yes. I haven't read the article, so I'm going by the comments I've heard. And I think I can rely on yourself for a good taste of what he said.
Yes.
What is reported.
Yes. Yes, I think we caught the heart of it in our recap.
Come on. You have 30 years experience, man. Or 30 odd. And you can't blame it on his youthful exuberance now. Yeah? You will season.
All right, Mr. Jigsaw. We have another caller on the line, so thank you for that contribution.
Okay. Right. You guys keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Africa love my sister and my brother.
Africa love my brother.
How you doing?
There, hang on. But I want to ask one question, you know.
What is that?
The question is, if the state and the government feel protect the lives of their citizens, what should the citizens do?
If the state does not protect the rights of the citizens, what should the citizens do?
No, if state feel to protect the lives,
the lives, okay,
of its citizens, then what should the citizens do?
You give us your suggestion to that. But we want to hear what you are saying. What do you think?
Well, I believe that over the years, the country been suffering from crime. And there's not a measure, you know what I mean, to civilize. Is there a plan? What are we going to do to curtail the crime? You know? What kind of promotion we're going to put out besides saying to the people that, you know, 10,000 dead last year and maybe 20,000 over there this year. You know, I am looking for a more constructive method. You know what I mean? Even though the people, if they were motivated right and have conscience, then, you know what I mean, I believe a crime, you know, will have cool down. But there is not even a word seen. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, I know that you're asking, your question has two layers to it. The first is, as a practical matter, what do you do in the immediate and short term
future
to respond to the situation? And the immediacy of the problem. And I have someone else online to Noel Sharp says, if emergency won't work, what do we think would work? So you have to look at it in terms of what do you need to do right now to cauterize, to contain, to control. The zones of special operations that they're using is an immediate answer because you can localize. It's just like in surgery. You see where the problem is. You surround it with the resources that you have and the strategies that you can implement, and you let that do the best work that it can. And it's two things. It's better policing. It's quicker response. It's putting the resources in the area that need it most. And it's making sure that the structures that support the work you're doing don't fail. And in many ways, it's just like the public health crisis. You know people are going to get sick, so you need to know that you have enough medicine, enough resources, and the hospitals won't crumble. It's the same thing, really, when you look at it in terms of how systems work and what kind of response you need to make. So you have the immediate short term, which is very, very dependent on policing. It does also require citizens to participate if there's information, if there are witnesses, if there are reports that need to be done, if it is a see something, say something strategy. Whatever it is, you look at it in terms of the quick preventative measures as well as the immediate practical business of investigating and bringing in the perpetrators of crime. So that's one. The second layer that you're asking is deeper. When systems fail at the state level, what do the people do? If it is failing because of political incompetence or in the leadership or whatever it is, you make changes. If it's failing because the infrastructure is poor and needs supporting, you build. If it is failing because people are uneducated, rash, and uncooperative, then you need the type of social interventions, and those all take time. I think we have another caller on the line. Ras Kremlin, I did my best because these are the very issues that occupy us day in, day out. I'm going to leave it now, though, so I can take another call. But I hope I've given you something to think on and to be a foundation for how we as citizens talk to our colleagues or neighbors and even just the police and others when we are participating in the discussion.
my sister. Give thanks.
Give thanks, brother. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Best FM, better than the rest of them.
I hope. Good morning. I know we recorded that, so we can use it.
I used to listen to another station next door, and for some reason I was, scrolling one morning, and I buck up on this station with you, Minute Clarence, and
Yes.
Pastor.
Yes.
And I must say, from that morning, I am hooked onto this program because you're allowed to be yourself and express your views without being, bombarded or harassed or.
We would not have it any other way. So we're glad that we are at least covering that territory. What is your view this morning?
Okay.
Yes.
I think Philip Paulwell would be ideal to be the next leader of the PNP without having all the little things that surround him. The scandal that happened with the light. He would have been the most ideal person.
Yeah, he was certainly on a path.
Was on that path, actually.
Right, because he's known, he's popular. In a sense, when I say popular, he has been there for a while and seasoned into the party. Because the problem that is happening now is, for example, Mark Golding just coming in. Not a lot of people know him like that, and he don't have the season,
the flair,
that jerk seasoning to get it right like that.
Yeah, so you're saying.
And I think Peter Phillips was a very good man, but the party should have stood behind him and build with him despite what the public persona was about him and all the party tried, the government did a lot to bring him down, like while he was a good performer and did a lot of things that was beneficial to the country.
To the country.
And I think if the party had built, stood around him and built, for example, when Andrew Holness just come around and he come up with this thing named, he make a speech, like let's say, whatever happened, I don't remember exactly, bitter medicine. And he lost the election.
Oh, nobody wins on a bitter medicine ticket.
Right, but just think of having lost with that speech and then come back around because the party rallied around him.
I see the point you're making, yes.
Build and build. So I feel if the party as the PNP had, despite whatever happened with Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson, they should have looked back and said, well, no, Portia is out. Let's build with Peter Phillips. By now, he would be one of the best leaders, and the PNP probably would have built back strong,
Yes.
All right. Fight him out.
I think Mr. Paulwell would be very encouraged by your words because it covers so many things, and it more than anything else, what draws me to it is it talks of redemption. Because if Mr. Holness could have promised path forward for
redemption,
yes, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. We do have another call, so I hope you have a good day.
Calling.
Thanks for calling.
Have a great day.
You too. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, my lady.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
How was your weekend?
Good morning, Pastor.
Morning. How was your weekend?
Great, man. Great. I'm here, thinking about the station in the nation and what we can do.
You're breaking up on us. Enlighten.
All right. We'll take the break and hold back. This is the Morning Connection. Good morning and welcome back. We have a caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Hello, miss. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, sir.
How are you, sir? How are you doing?
And to Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Look here. If the government wants to end the crime,
yes.
If the people them have on cow and go, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, where a wasteland. Same people them who, hold on, it's same people who the government said them complicit to have them live salvage the way downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Take them people and put them a country. Lucy, Negril, Harlow's place. I give them some house and land.
Yes, so you're getting to the heart of it. You're linking you're linking the criminal activity to the lack of gainful employment or economic activity. And you say give them something to do.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But them compare their tag which is the most hot water.
Yes.
You understand? These people only talk and nothing has been doing this.
Yeah. Well,
people can plant pine and all those things that for new market. Give them us down there.
Are you a farmer yourself? What business are you involved in?
Miss, and now I'm a plant cassava. Plant gungo.
Yes.
All right. Past 3 years I've never plant gungo and buy a fridge. You understand?
Yes.
It's not my land, you know. Not my land, but ask that spot and get it. I'm gonna sell gungo and buy a fridge.
Yes. No, you're making an excellent point. For those who have the patience and understand that things might not happen as fast as they want to, anything to do with animal husbandry and farming and so on, not only give you food, but it can support you. One of the challenges we have, of course, is that people get a taste for things happening at a faster pace, and a lot of our young have rejected farming and agriculture as a decent way to earn a living. And then when they hear about the predatory larceny and who preying on the goats and the pigs and the whatever, it is also a turnoff. So but you make an important point. Persons need to be otherwise occupied in order to live a life of crime, and crime tends to involve violence because you then tend to go in that direction to support what you're doing. So we've lost the call, but we didn't lose the point. There's another caller on the line. Yes. Good morning.
I hope you can. Good morning. Good morning again. I hope you can hear me better.
Great.
Yes, so much better.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I was making the point that we are falling into a trap now where we have a government, a leader of the government that to me seems that he has thrown up his hand in the air.
He's waving the white flag.
Yeah, man. He has run out of ideas, and he has simply thrown up his hand in the air. You know, so I don't know, but back to another point again. I heard the commissioner of police said this morning that we had 20 odd youths that they arrested and some person that they arrested and they come up. But you know what is striking to me is that we're hearing all these figures and we're doing here. I don't hear nobody talking about the causes of this crime. We talk about we're going to have state of emergency and all that, and nobody is. We have how many gangs in this country, and we don't know what are the gangs fighting over. What are they fighting for? What are they? Why people are attracted to gangs and all that type of thing there?
All right.
Are we doing?
Okay, so everybody needs to be a part of a grouping, a social grouping. You have pointed out that one of the major things that is driving crime in the country, and I know it firsthand, is that you ever heard about the fatherless crew? You ever hear about the fatherless crew where their fathers were killed early because of crime, and so them call themselves the fatherless crew. So them just kill people because they do have no sense of belonging, and they have taken to each other, and them don't have any order or anything. So the breakdown in our social structure has aided and abetted that. A second thing that is happening when you see a lot of these gangs and things fighting, they're fighting over territory. They're fighting over control of economic resources.
Okay.
And some of them, as a man would say, them have dog heart. Them know all them focusing on is getting more money and control. So if you don't have any boundaries, that's going to happen. So therefore, in regards to the justice, which my friend Minette always speaks about, administration of justice, it cannot only be seen to done, because you're talking about people arrested. What about the conviction? What happens to those people when they're arrested? Does it move forward to conviction? That the conviction acts as a deterrent to the people who are thinking of a life of crime. Because most of them, a policeman will tell you when you catch them and them think them ball like babies because them don't want to go to prison. And then some of the times what happen if they are caught in a shootout, them gone.
Yeah, I understand all of that, but what I'm driving at to say, I don't believe we have a real society, We have a real developed society,
Okay.
We have a society of a low trust factor.
True, we agree with that.
A society that has a lack of opportunity, low interpersonal skills, high literacy rate. When a small society, has so many problems, then it is difficult for that society to be a cohesive society,
True.
And that's one of the problems we have, because I will use an analogy, If you take up drum of the greatest poison that you have and throw it in the Amazon River, it won't have any what be effect if you take the same drum of poison and throw it in the Rycobe River right now. We have a very small society. And because our society is so small, with this amount of social problems that we have, it is going to be very difficult. Because let's not do, we claim that we love one another, Jamaicans speak that we love one another, but we don't love one another as much as we thought,
True.
We hate the communities that we live in, and we don't love one another as we thought we claim to love one another. So if we don't go deep, get deep, and to try to sort out these problems to build a society. Other society have the same problem, but they are bigger. Big society can survive with all these type of problems. But when a society it's like a woman,
yes,
if you have your house and all these type of problems, the family can't survive.
All right, but you have raised a lot of big issues, and those are like the top of the brain issues that we are always grappling with. We have another caller on the line, but we're gonna keep chewing on and talking about the points you have raised, because I think it comes up all the time. Those questions, as you have posed them, no immediate answer, but it just requires constant application of thought. There's more I'd love to say to you, but I want to take the other caller and just keep listening, because we're gonna return.
I'm gonna leave. But just if we can't think, if we don't place our mind on these problems, we won't be solving.
We cannot solve it. Absolutely.
Agree with you 100%.
That's why we don't leave it. All right. Thank you, my brother. Keep listening. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning. Do I have your permission to have a second swing of the willow? Not the willy, the willow.
Well, I think you're already swinging, so press on.
Go ahead.
Jigsaw.
What? Oh, you're so quiet, man. When I talk, you shut up.
No, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I listen, but it's the willow, not the willy, all right?
Right, yes. I have 3 points.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
One, those of us who call or listen regularly should always equip themselves with something to make a note. Pen and paper. Or paper and pencil. So make what is communicated or what we receive more valuable.
Wow.
Now we need a trigger to remind me.
True.
What was said, what you're interested in. Okay? 2, credit. Those of us who are going to call, right? It shouldn't be a problem with credit if they buy the plan. One of the networks I know about, they give you a 5-year plan or a 28-year plan. So you're not in a rush when you get on. to say what we have to say and can't listen to the comments.
And the third point.
Slip my head now.
You did not write it down.
Remember the first 2 points.
The third point, they say you didn't follow your own tip of keeping pen and paper at hand.
No, man.
So you could have write down your point.
No, that's the thing I have to do. I have to start jotting them down.
You have to start jotting down your point.
But
Actually, that's a good idea.
I'm mobile. I'm back with neighbors. I went and dropped.
Well, here what? You can get a third swing. Call us back when the third point come to you.
Right. So long as Pastor don't bowl no silent Google.
No. We were expecting you.
All right. Okay.
All right, Jigsaw. Stay safe on the road.
Okay.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning, Mr. Morning, Pastor Bussy.
Morning. How you doing?
Not bad. First look at the program. Listen out the while.
Oh, thank you.
Where calling us from?
I call from Bugboxway.
Okay, excellent. My country that.
Man.
My country that. Above rock.
Okay. What I talk about, is some farming thing, Marina.
Yes, go ahead.
I raise chicken, right? And in Jamaica, you have two places that produce feed. The same two places that produce the deer-wool chicks and produce the layer chicken that lay eggs. And what is happening in the past 4 to 5 to 6 months? Every month, actually sometimes nearly almost 2 times a month, feed price has been going up. The baby chicks that you buy, the same thing happen. And we don't want to talk. When you say we have a Minister of Agriculture, that was flagging at the time that the man did just come in like a PR service. Excellent talk. And when the man talk, they could have lecture in the school. So you see the thing is, the thing will go pound it up. And then now, we can raise the chickens so much, And we have people where come pick it where we have to pay. But by myself, even a picker. Then you have like a water bill car, but the thing when me survive by now, I could take some more time. If water gets case, I can get me chuck on the tank, water in the tank and all them something there.
Yes.
But when you take a step now, you're supposed to have a government that see to the interests of them people. And we do have nobody to do them something right now.
Okay.
And if it continue to raise like this now, I don't know we are big man, big woman. We still have granted to go to school because the situation in Jamaica here, so we have to drop a thing there and so keep the families afloat.
Yeah.
But another system here, you know where we go.
Okay.
Let me tell you, my brother, that situation with the chickens and the bottleneck, two areas in farming are having the same problem. The fisher folk have been complaining too that prices just to maintain, their boats and their nets and so on keep going up, while an importer of foreign fish and seafood products keeps getting bigger everywhere you go. That's all you see on the shelf. And I was aware that something was happening with the chicken farming as well, where sometimes you can't get baby chicks. And
yes.
Right. So as you've been in that business, how do you see that bottleneck? Because I would love to ask the questions of the right people to see how we break it, because I see a kind of stranglehold. Those who do their, the organic homegrown businesses seem to be being pushing further and further to the margins, where even I heard the minister say they're gonna need food handlers permit to pluck and dress the chickens. So it looked like they want to bring you under regulation while the business is being strangled. How you see it? Well, how is it taking place?
I went to easier we can deal with.
Yes.
I want to make you recall. In a blue school in time, I'm not talking politics. I'm not really them. But what I'm saying, in a blue school in time, you have a time when the farmer where you split and then put a bucket just as we are talking about for the farmer, And when the farmer then get up, that is reaching level at the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister talk to them and first and said, can't come down because material this, that. and then Bruce get some people and go to Europe, you know, and put a cheaper fertilizer come to Jamaica, you know. And the farmers was doing well with it because me know me have a portion of coconut virgin and some more virgin at the farming.
Mm-hmm.
And you see when person couldn't sell enough fertilizer at all, within a couple of months all of a sudden, you know,
price
it's the material get cheaper and him bring the price right down and the input and the fertilizer cap him come right down, that's the man them could afford it again. So we know that the government can do something.
Yes.
We know we keep up with already.
But okay.
All right, my brother. I'm making a note of it because we are interested in food security.
Yeah, but one of the things before you go, you know what has happened with this pandemic, and people need to be aware of it. The price of corn on the international market has skyrocketed, not because it's not being produced, but simply because of the bottlenecks that are there in terms of shipping it from one place to the other, and of course,
pandemic related,
and the exchange rate is going through the roof. So those are two major things. But what I hear saying, and I'm agreeing with you, the government needs to step in to help to facilitate that the costs don't just go through the roof, because chicken price kind of setting and the two big guys manage what happens with it. So we have to look at it. So the small producers, which is a major component of the market, can do it.
You know what you talk about that? You remember we have Jamaica Livestock Association?
Yes.
That was the best thing we have to Jamaica farming, you know?
Don't we still have it?
No.
Oh.
No, the equipment don't go put down there.
Okay, it's defunct.
The two of them plan and get out livestock, you know?
Yes. All right, my brother. I hear you, and you have planted a seed in very fertile soil here, because it's something that both Percival and I are interested in. And anywhere we can make a phone call or open up an issue, we are doing it. And we think sometimes people are listening, and it may make a difference. Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something. You see, as small as it is, you know, it will be surprising to know how much people employ, you know.
Yeah, we know that.
Yes, yeah.
If you come sit down with me and look on the amount of people survive after them little farm,
right.
you won't believe
10 to 15 people. Yeah. We know you're talking about.
Yeah,
man.
And no people go to school after them.
Absolutely. The roots go deep. All right, my brother. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks for calling.
Stay tuned.
Cool.
All right, good. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
We're hearing you.
We are good, man. Talk up.
Yeah, man, that fertilizer man talking about, just talk about that while ago.
Yes.
We have to abandon it, you know.
Which one was that? Is that the one that they said was made of?
Yeah, man, that stinking fertilizer with that stink up the place.
It was that one? I wondered if that was the same one, but
I
do remember.
You don't remember when I go down at the war from bus container when I man collapse. You never remember that?
No. That's the fertilizer that they said was made from human waste. And
that is the fertilizer Mr. Bruce Golding carry come here. That's the same one.
Okay. Well, he's saying it had the effect of bringing down Versan.
We say we have to abandon it.
We know, but
yes.
Yeah, but
it was breeding up some worm.
Yeah. Yes, man. I remember that, Rusty.
The plant come go eat out the plant.
Rusty.
Yes.
I remember that. But he was citing it, as an example of how you can intervene in the market and bring down prices. But I do remember that unspeakable fertilizer.
Yes, man. Do the fertilizer.
Yeah, I agree with my sister, but that's not what I really call to talk about.
All right, let's get into it, my brother.
I call to talk about the Palwell issue,
Yes. What's your view?
Mr. Palwell can go, man. He don't have a good record, You ever check his record?
What are the parts of it that you think should disqualify him?
If the whole country know what is the part of it to disqualify, everybody know. You need to come talk. When Mr. Palwell name call, everybody know what happened.
Well, if I think he must be watching to see what kind of response he's getting.
Look here, he was a presidential race, and he was a vice president.
Why didn't he put up himself for leadership at that time?
Oh, so you see what he's doing now as a bid for leadership?
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Okay.
But it now work on things. It they work on his side, you know, because that record where the people are look for, you know, always are judging by that record.
Let us see. One of the callers just now spoke about how Andrew Holness had promised bitter medicine and was rejected at the polls, and then he made a comeback. I have one listener on the line saying that Paul Well did okay with telecoms, but he thinks too, as you are saying, that the time has passed. I know he did well with telecoms.
Mr. Paul Well can go now, man. He involved in a lot of controversy. We bring down the party. We bring down the party. A lot of things. All the last general election we lose with in a portion of time. He's one of them contribute to the last.
All right, my brother.
He's one of them contribute to the last. So if he put up himself for leadership, the PMP now go trust him.
Right. But which probably is the...
We need somebody who clean and honest. We need a clean slate.
Hey.
All right, I hear you, Rusty.
In the People's National Party, we need a clean slate. So if some of them want, they have to push out to clean up the thing. Let it be.
Yeah, in fact, maybe more cleaning of the house need to take place. All right, Rusty, I hear you loud and clear. I have another caller on the line. Can I go to him now?
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Have a good day. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, my dear, and Percy, how you doing?
Good man.
Good morning.
Look, you know.
Yes.
You know why the fertilizer did stop come here?
Yeah.
It's because of what? Roger Clark one did get all the because Roger Clark fully people and tell him say when him go around him say be a drunker and say fly around.
So
and when him look Roger Clark take trailer panty for trailer and buy out the whole fertilizer and the people them tell us be a original way. All in all, burn down the whole of the place where man did the fertilizer.
So let me ask you, did you hear the reports about the worms?
The worm?
Yeah, that the fertilizer caused.
Ever since you have worm, you know, baby, and you know they always,
I'm a farmer's daughter,
no
so.
Good way you do.
I'm a farmer's daughter, Sheppy, so me know said there are always worms. But I'm asking.
No matter the good way you do, look what Andrew do. And you look at the people who have their bar clothes and have to pay their light bill and pay their rent here.
So you're
get a little money for foreign.
So you compare Andrew to the worms?
No,
okay.
I'm only telling you how Jamaican people say no matter the good way you do.
Okay.
And when they hate you. All right, just for example.
But me not think them hate Andrew.
Look at the man. When I not look at the man with his wife says something about him. The boy, the man is so precious. When I'm in bed, and all those things, I look how far they spread it.
What here? Yeah, repeat it now.
So you have to just they are just doing things because what? When a man don't like you, as a matter of fact.
I know my mother teach me a statement.
Look what the father was doing, and they crucify him. They give us Barabbas. So look here, people right now eye open. Because me hear people talk, people who are big, was a big PMP. They say this man comes to save us. Because when do for us? Because me and my little bar in the clothes, I have to pay my rent, I have to pay my light bill, I have to pay rent people place, and they give you a little touch. Some of them take that money, right? I mean, 4 girls take that money and start raise chicken. And when they start raise chicken, they open a little shop.
Sheppy, may have another call coming.
And this is one of the best governments.
Thank you, my brother. I love it that you're giving I love it that he's giving his party some love. But we have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I called. It's my second time. Now, if Roger Clark,
yes,
if every politician in Jamaica was like Roger Clark, we wouldn't need to have any election. Did you know that?
If every minister was like Roger Clark,
wouldn't have any election. Yeah. Right.
Because he held both sides, both Labourite and PMP.
That's true.
That's what I've heard. I'd heard it said.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, I'm from St. Elizabeth.
Yeah, so
I know that.
Experienced it.
No, if Roger Clark buy out all those fertilizer, it was to throw on his cane because he planted a lot of cane.
We know that.
And the worms don't matter to the canes?
No, the worm don't matter to the cane. And the cane is in wetland, so it will soak away fast, but not on vegetable. So Sheppy is not that smart. I don't like to call people fool, but
no, man.
We're big for Sheppy.
Oh, man, come on.
We're big for Sheppy. All right, my brother, I take your point, though. I get the point.
All right, then.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Connection. Good morning.
Hello.
Of course, we're going to resist the urge for the morning to be taken up with too much talking about the the fertilizer. Oh yeah, all right. We take our break and we come back. We'll shift now into a new season, I think. Remember, the numbers to call are 619-1508 and 279-8473.
We'll be right back.
Hey, Zay, let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
Praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him, praise him. And the no name of Jive, it tie me up. And the no name of Jive, it wakes me up. So them evil, so them lie, so them corrupt. Scheming and them planning, but we not give up. Jehovah and the one way ya hold me up. In the Father we put trust. Dun Jaja they done with the name Dun Jaja super cat him come and then they do it dun dada. They done shake there.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Connection.
We have
two callers. Caller number one, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Hey, Wayne.
How are you?
I'm good, Support Miss Minute.
Yes, sir.
you do your farming and you plant up the food them you need to survive. And me, we and come now, me I give you food. You're not short of food. You don't need to take that from me, don't?
True. I got my
I
own.
tell you that even worse, you don't need to take it.
Yes, I have my own.
All right. So you say, if we produce food, we no business where them want to send come here cheap, you know? Because we don't have food for ourselves, can feed ourselves.
True.
Food
I
security.
could have give them a give it, them can keep it. Can it make no sense to take it from them and we done full of food? No. If you don't know where you're coming from, me don't know you're going to know where you go. And as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And what goes around shall come back around. Life is a cycle. You see, me and people are by all, we have to be careful what we are doing now. We are holy people, you know. You understand? And we follow the principles of Christ, our Lord and Savior. So, we don't want to fertilize and make from human filth, you know, human excretion, you know.
Yes.
Not even piss, you know. Because we are doing farming, you know. We are doing little farming and little space.
We're using organic farming. We're using the...
Organic. Yeah. Everything that come from our trees and things that come from the earth and the earth need it back. It's a cycle.
Does that mean you wouldn't use the waste from the chicken farm because they use or from the horse farm because they use horse excrement and chicken and
but
it makes for good manure.
All right. Yeah, the chicken and even the horse, the goat, the cow, these things feed upon
grass.
Mainly plants.
Yes.
But again, even if I don't have that, I can just take the plant and govern it myself and make my own fertilizer too.
True. Yes. It's
not like never short if I don't use it.
Yeah, it takes work, but that is what it is. It's work.
All right. So, I plant up the vegetable in my yard now because from well young, to me, farming, food are my most important thing. Different from righteousness and justice.
Yeah.
Right? We need food. Right? And me in my 40s and now go to 50, so me there my yard I go and start up my little experiment and my little space, right? And me no buy no chemical to spray me things and me go pick neem off our neem tree, I might use garlic, you know,
to create a little, to create a herbicide to get rid of the...
and it works.
It works. But you see what happened, a lot of us are applying, but we're applying big farming techniques to our little garden. You have to do some things are hand application. I mean, I grew up seeing my father make his thing and spray it. But you're only spraying maybe an acre or so. If you have to do 10 acres, then you need crop dusters and you need a different level of technology. So we frequently end up taking these systems and ways of doing things, and we end up spoiling what we have. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have the bigger farming. If you have the bigger farming, you're going to need more than yourself to do it.
Right, yeah.
If you have the bigger farming, already produce more natural chemicals to bring the bigger farming.
Right.
And you got more people, so more people can gather up, plant up the things that we know we can use back to
we're back at collaboration at the community level and helping one another if it's more than for one person. All right. Remember, I have caller number 2 in a way. So
listen to me,
yes,
darling. 1 more minute.
Yes.
Now listen to the Prime Minister and him talk about the curfew thing where they put on, and that only can relieve the people them for a time. You understand me? The people them need more understanding of some things to do amongst themselves. They need to be just amongst themselves.
Yes.
Stop tolerate foolishness from your children. Because if you tolerate it from your children when them do it wrong, you're going to want to tolerate it back from my children too. And then everything I just break up into pieces.
And then this complete dysfunction.
We need to watch ourselves. We are raised an animal, right? We watch ourselves. As a community, we not tolerate no foolishness amongst us. We not tolerate nobody amongst us. We are promote negativity. You understand me?
Gotcha, my brother.
Things, trust me, it's not going to work.
All right.
Way my talk about and them lockdown and them something. That's alone. Part of showing it do not work, and it's a police state in my create.
And we reject that. We reject that.
All right.
All right. We'll be talking to you later.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection, and thank you so much for holding.
Righteous greeting and peace and happiness to you and Pastor P and the world.
Thank you, my brother. Good morning to you too.
Yes. No, I'm calling the world to a righteous government, which is the government of Jesus. I am the increase.
Mm-hmm.
So I want the people to know that man in Hannah without understanding is like the beast that perish.
That is
and
true.
That
is true.
God have ordained a kingdom on earth to forever. But the people don't know about it. Because they were taught that they were going to heaven. Which is a lie and a big one too.
Branch?
Yes, sir.
You have said that it speaks about Jesus, and when he came, as it speaks of in Isaiah 9, in terms of an increase of his kingdom shall be no end. Are you then saying to us that you are the Christ now?
I am the branch. Listen where the Bible says.
Okay, you are the branch,
any
but
man
not the
had
Christ.
to the prophecy of this book,
Yeah.
plague shall add unto him.
Okay.
And if any man take it away, God shall take away his name out of the book of life. So I want you to call me branch, and I want you to understand about the branch.
Okay.
Now, many Christians say Jesus are the branch. But if we understand what the Bible says, we will understand that branch is a man that shall rise by God.
Okay, so Jesus was not
No,
a man.
Hello?
Jesus was not a man.
Eh?
Jesus was not a man. That's what I'm asking you.
Talk again. Me not get you so clear.
He's asking, was Jesus a man?
Yes, man.
Okay.
Jesus is the firstborn.
Oh, so you're a part of that. Okay. Now I understand.
Branch is the second child.
Okay. All right.
Have you ever read about the second child later?
You are telling me.
Yeah?
No, you are telling me. So that's why I'm listening to what you're saying.
All right. Well, let me tell you this now. If we follow the Bible, we will understand what God says and what God is doing.
Okay.
But if we follow the Babylonian conman, we will not understand what God said because it will mix up.
Okay.
Now look at this. In the beginning, God divided the light from the darkness. And he called the darkness night, and he called the light day. And he make a light to rule the day, and he make light to rule the night. Now, the Babylonian conman can teach the people, them say daylight, 12 o'clock at night. How you look at it?
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, we have another call online, Branch, so we'll continue this course another time, all right? Tomorrow, God's willing. Okay?
Nothing wrong.
Bless you.
All right, my brother. Take care. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning to you, Sister Minute. Good morning to you, Pastor Percy. Good morning to you, Andre. Good morning to the engineer. Blessed morning.
Blessed morning.
You know, it's a pleasure to be here, to know that we have a time like this. When you have a station who can accommodate and come with them guys. Anytime you hear Paul well name, it hurt him, and it's him name Kern Spencer. I'm not going further with that. A lot of people should know, and if people rush to them know me I talk about. So, and we not have to talk about the taintedness of people. Right? Make a talk about here and now.
True.
Here and now.
Yes, give me some here and now arguments.
We are in a time that we don't know what tomorrow brings. No, even though tomorrow don't promise to know
to anyone.
Anyone. But I'm going to tell you something, we always look forward to. That's why they say, if you do a vision, you lack. Because
you perish.
You perish. You understand? And when I say lack, that means you lack of perish. Yeah,
you lack a future.
Yeah, right. You don't know where we're going. And makes the mud body talk about love of self. Make we talk about it. Get the people together. together. Get the people together. People is suffering. I don't want a man come up with a one side thing. The two side them not right. But I don't want a man come go on like said. People are suffer. People is suffering. And when I say people is suffering, you have to be out in the street to see people. People is suffering.
We know that.
What you used to buy 2 days ago or 2 weeks ago for $20, it gone 40 to 50.
Yeah, and I mean, just to hear that farmer speak about what's happening with the chicken and so on. And I'm somebody who I don't buy chicken from the supermarket shelf. I'm a country girl. I know 3 or 4 farmers in the country that save chicken for me, and I go and I pick it up. And I can remember buying chicken at $1.20 a pound until it's now at $2.50.
Sister Minute, a chicken back price that you talk about, Sister Minute. Chicken back price.
In today's money, you're saying?
Yeah, chicken back price.
But I buy, there are a couple of farmers in my community, and my mother will get them to save for me. So I am still getting reasonably good price.
Yeah, but that is to God be the glory. But
yeah.
There's a chicken back price. You talk about a pound of chicken back.
$250? Are you serious? No, but me tell you, me buy chicken from, that's why I said to you, I don't buy from the supermarket.
Yeah.
I buy from my brother who raised chicken in the country and 2 other ladies who raised chicken, and I go down to country. I pay more than $250 by the time I put gas in my car and go down to country to buy chicken. It costs more than that. But I'm saying to conceive of a situation in which those persons are being pushed farther and farther, my purchase from them is a big deal because I'm somebody who will buy 50 pounds.
I want to end on this note.
Yes.
The minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love people. You care for people. You love, listen to this, You say you love people,
Yeah.
You care for people, And you have the people the minimum wage at a level where people are from.
Let me tell you, my brother,
I
pass through
love people,
and that is what you promote.
And when you're ready, when you go to friend all 23 million for go home with.
Mm-hmm.
When you love people, I will stay one side and I rip off the coppers. When you love people. How to love people. How people are suffering at this kind of condition. And when a man done him come and kill himself, this man is one of the best.
No, there's no justice in that.
Mercy, God.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. God I go intervene, and when him intervene, even me myself I go wonder because him don't like ugly.
He does not.
Don't like ugly.
And he has put
morning. It don't know how painful these things are. Just look on a little boy get up this morning and in true ignorance his mother tell him peer.
That word. Because
she have nothing to give.
She'd rather put anger in his heart than food in his
with your acting. How can you love people? Are you not looking out for people?
And we haven't talked about the statutory declaration that has now been published.
The whole heap of money with them get and
listen, my brother, your tears, your pain, the love that you're carrying in your heart, it have value, and God will speak.
Yeah, man, that's what he's gonna do.
God will speak.
It's not only your tears crying out, my brother.
Let me tell you something. I come off right now.
Yes.
If him ever speak,
Well, the truth is he is speaking.
It's a must.
He is speaking.
It's a must. It's a must.
No, it's a done deal. That's why we're here. We are some of the watchmen who are standing on the wall, and we're trying to secure our own future by saying it as it is now, because now is the appointed time.
Heavenly Father, creator of all things, I humble myself.
The prayer. We're going to play.
That's not love.
That's not the plan.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
Shalom.
How are you?
No. The Most High says to Ezekiel 3 verse 4.
There's someone singing in the background.
Go unto my people and speak unto them my word. Not your word, Ezekiel. Ezekiel was an excellent spokesman. God chose him as a prophet. And let me explain this to all you listening. The Most High doesn't work off of emotion. Like the brother said, he will intervene. He must intervene in all of our situations.
He has intervened.
But we have a part to play. Don't you believe, Pastor?
Yeah, we do.
We have our part to play. He said in Isaiah 4 and verse 6, my people. You see, until we understand who is my people, who is the audience.
Let me just say something to you. Now let's get me straight on this. I do not subscribe to the view, and people need to be very clear on this in terms of white and black. You see, that I don't see that in the heart of God. All right? My understanding of it is very, very clear. So my people are those people across all races. All races. Black, white, Chinese, Indian, and so on, who acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord, and has accepted that God has revealed himself to us through the person of Jesus Christ, who's a historical figure, who lived, and the history is repealed with what he has done. So let me just put that on the table so you understand where I'm coming from. All right? So go ahead. And make your point.
Don't have a problem. Don't have a problem, my brother.
Yeah,
I'm going to come off as soon as possible.
So make your point. Make your
But
point.
let me give you some food for thought.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And I've given you food for thought, okay? You have to consider that too.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Amos 3 and verse 1 and 2. Here's this word that the Lord had spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. Yes, Negroes, you are the children of Israel who came on the plantation and the slave ship. Verse 2, you only, I want to get this pastor, you only mean singular, none else. I know of all the families of all the nations on the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for your iniquities. And then it goes to heart. Can two walk together except they agree? I will just let you, please.
Okay.
And you can read it for the people.
All right. So
I would let you with the book of Acts 3 and verse 19.
All right.
Pastor, if we get all the monies in the world, all the gold, we can't better off.
Okay.
Until we add confess. And you find this in Isaiah. It's all about Israel, the two kingdoms.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much for that.
All right.
Getting clearer. Right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning. Good morning.
Like a new voice. Where are you calling us from, my brother?
Yeah, man.
Time your call still in, but go ahead.
Yes, man. But they are the same conversation, you know. And I want to say, you know, in spite of everything we are going, nothing at all cannot steal my joy, you know.
Aye.
You understand? Your happiness depends on you, you know.
Yes.
And the Creator also.
True.
So you see, everything we are going, you see, we just want to make people know that the Creator now nothing to do with this, and mankind do this.
It's on the decisions they have taken.
Exactly. Mankind. And people think that the Creator saw things like how me and you saw things, and see things like how me and you see things. You see, everybody has been created, you know, by the one being, which is the creator of everything, which is the Almighty. You understand? And him see none less than none, but he just, as I said, the choices that we make because of the same system. And speaking of the system, the problem is with the system, people them see themselves more than the poor. You understand?
Oh, yes.
They see themselves more than the poor. And too much friendship are going in their house up there. Friendship.
Yeah, man, they've got very comfortable and relaxed, enjoying the power and the prestige.
See, that's the problem. I'm going to tell you this. Even though a lot of us down here are face, so we are face, hungry and all, we can't afford it because come like every week, things are real. You see, you understand the people crying on the separation and the hungry. But you see, if you can ball all you want, then you feel nothing in you.
No heart, and I think that is that's what was burdening the last caller or the caller before this one. Yeah.
I tell you the truth, but I tell you this, the man they sleep well safe.
What?
You see, the thing is this, you know, is the people. A long time this is going on, I'm not surprised, you know. Me not surprised. But me have to tell you this so me get to realize I'm everything. I don't know about you. See, it come like when time certain things happen every time people rebel. It come like certain things start to go sky high. Because these people come like they want in control of their life and everything.
Yeah, so it's about another caller made the point too that if you have to depend on a man for your food, then he has you.
Exactly, and that's one of the main reasons again them like when we depend on them.
So when prices and things go and we under a certain degree of stress, but you know what? It can cut in another direction too, because sometimes when you have nothing to lose, then it emboldens you to just lay it all on the line.
Yeah.
So, but I love what you started with. No one can steal your joy, and that is as it should be because your peace comes from another source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you know where the people them. You see, there's something now. I don't know if you listen to this message before. Name the Willie Lynch
syndrome.
You ever heard of that before?
Yeah, man. Willie Lynch syndrome.
All right. I want to tell you the other day I come across it. Honestly, I heard someone mention it a few years back, and it ended up slipping. And somehow he ended up mentioning again.
It came back to you recently.
Yes. And when I listen to it, honestly, I tell you, I feel sorry because it come like even to the day of the Willie Lynch.
Yes.
Things still are going, I tell you.
All right, my brother. But I know.
I tell the people, them say, just stay strong, man.
Stay strong, because we will overcome.
Yes, man, and trust God. We overcome many things.
And this too, we will overcome. And we're going to overcome it now with a plan for victory. Not just to keep just surviving. We have to survive well, with dignity.
Good.
All right, my brother, thank you. Stay safe on the roads.
I have a word here that we can't pronounce it and anything, you know. So I'm going to spell it here. I want you to do a research on it for me.
Yes.
Because it is a condition. HY POGLYCEMIA.
Is that hypoglycemic?
Yes. They said it is a condition that when person almost malnourished and so forth. But it is a condition that comes on by persons being underfed and malnourished and so forth. So it creates anger and so forth in persons.
I see where you're going.
So you see when we are looking the crime wave and the youth them. Look at the youth them going to school without breakfast and so forth. And you go there because I can talk off of experience, you know. When you read hungry, you know, your eye can, you're kind of dizzy.
Yes.
And you irritate within yourself.
Oh, well,
so just look at the condition which our leaders put our youth in because them create so much ghetto and so much poverty.
And so much stress. And the other thing that creates stress too is and change your behavior is sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
If you're not resting,
But when you're hungry, you can't sleep.
Yeah.
This guy, you up one, so because it's going to create.
The conga pangs wake you up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yes, sir.
You know, these are some of the things that we need to look at, and we need now to find persons to help to alleviate these conditions. So you see, when our leaders them sit down and them talk about, you see when the brother talk about farming and so, we need to create our own, and because the food that we get from overseas is not the type where we grew up, and you know, minute and support people at our age.
I know that. Let me tell you, not a thing, and then you find yourself with all kind of illnesses that you can't afford. Somebody online is saying that malnutrition causes brain fog and other disorders. Brain fog, and students in particular, no need brain fog.
No.
Yeah.
So you see why we need now to study more about crime and look at it a little more scientifically. Because some of the things when them are put in place, them little whatever they call it, zozos and this and that, it will not solve crime. Because if you run a criminal from which part them might run a criminal from where them have his own
place.
Right. Yeah. No, but you see, the zozos can be a quick, immediate, short-term response to catch it in a particular locality because you know that something is happening in this area. But if you set it up there and keep it for any period of time, it migrate to somewhere else. So you're constantly chasing it. And we see what is happening in Westmoreland. When did Westmoreland, the parish of Negril, become a violent hotspot? I mean, Westmoreland. And I've watched it.
Them from Westmoreland go over them.
Yeah, because it migrates. I mean, even in my sleepy little community, Mount Murray, I'm frightened one time here said there was a stolen car chop shop operating very near to where my mom lives. I'm like, Mount Murray, I didn't even know you have enough mechanics. But it migrated and moved them, pick it up and move it from somewhere else. And because there's so much rural urban drift, everybody who in the city up to some ranks have a country where they can go to.
What we need to do now is look at the social issues.
Yes.
And how we can solve that. And we have a solve crime.
Yes, sir. It is, let me tell you, man, it have many levels and we have to be able to work them concurrently. It is no one size fits all. And the truth of it is the more people who take a stake in it and say, let me do my part, the better it will work.
The other thing is crime is a business. So if I want to take a look at some of the security companies and see how much inchman to the parties are how much.
Yes, man. Establish them security firm so they can profit from the disease that ails us. Yes, that does happen. It does happen.
And also some of them are carrying some of gun and we are creating crime.
Listen to me, man. Absolutely. You notice no matter how many shipments we intercept, you don't get any convictions or nobody gets arrested, and then sometimes the same gun then pop up on the street somewhere else. So really,
right, because people ever just look at the serial number.
But we have the capability, and look at it. We are just two regular people talking, and so much knowledge and awareness is evident in our speech. Can you imagine if everybody else come into the conversation, people accountable?
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Thank you so much. Yes, we're doing our best from this. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
Good morning and welcome back to the caller on hold. Welcome to the
yes,
show.
I'm here. Yeah, one morning again.
Morning. Great.
This was the last call, man.
Yes.
Such a brilliant call, man.
Yes,
Brilliant.
I actually made notes.
Yeah, man. You said that, that are the things that are evidently causing some of the problems that you have in the country. Yes, Pastor. Hello?
Yes, enlighten. I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah, man. I have a little problem with the religious aspect of things,
What is that?
Well, if you are saying that God is going to intervene and God is going to... Slavery lasted about over 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
The atrocity of slavery. Did God intervene in slavery and stop it?
Yes, he did.
Oh.
But most of the person, beyond the economic reasons that there were, it was the abolitionists who pushed to have it removed.
Yeah, but I know God do that. No man do that, man.
No, but you see, I keep telling you, for me, and you hear me say, there's a connection between my faith and my actions. And a lot of those people put their life at risk in terms of pushing for the abolition. They were ridiculed. Some people even lost their lives, but because they believed that it was a wrong thing, they were willing to put their lives on the line. And a lot of us continue to do that. You notice in the paper today, the gentleman who spoke at the national prayer has called for the resignation of Chang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
Pastor, the church was involved in slavery,
And I'm not saying no to that, my brother. Everybody was involved in slavery. Because God never set it up that way for one man to subject another one, which is a basic thing of it.
But isn't the question to both of you, how does God intervene? That's the question.
Yeah, because God uses man to intervene.
And right. So my friend here is saying, is man who does the work, and it is true. It is man who have to do the work. And I know where you're going, I've been there myself. A lot of times we talk about God intervening as if it is going to be something that is done without the hands and feet of man doing the work.
But after 400 years, man, and so many lives were lost and all them things there.
You thought it should have come earlier.
From the first time that an atrocity like that began, God never said that it is something wrong and stop it, man.
But remember,
millions were killed.
You have to remember, my brother, that for every two person who is involved in a transaction, one is being punished and one is being rewarded. In a world where judgment is constantly being executed. And as you listen to all the people who call us, you will see that there's something we're all in agreement on. Those who transgress and are being punished will suffer. And there's a time when those who are enjoying the fruits or the fat of the land will have a clear run, and then the tables will turn. There's that seasonality to it. I think what is occupying your mind in part, and it has occupied mine a lot too, when is the right time for the intervention? Because I would like it to be in my lifetime.
No.
Everybody would like it to be in their lifetime. But it doesn't always play out that way.
For thousands of years, you see?
Yeah.
The poor has been oppressed, and them land, their land has been taken away from them, and they have been murdered. Races and people on this earth that has been, it's extinct. And I don't see how God could be there and looking down and say all those wickedness that taking place and don't do nothing about it. It's man have to do things, man. If we go and sit down and wait and say, well, God going to do this and God going to do that.
No, we cannot sit down and wait. And I know that is
the... God do operate like how we believe God
that is the big issue.
That is a big issue.
We are in agreement that there's no sitting down and waiting for God to come and do what man should do.
Yeah.
We need to do it ourselves, and that's why we mobilize and we talk the way we do.
And that's why.
Leave everything to God.
No. But enlighten. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
An important part of of how you see it. And I guess you hear me always talk about worldview, how you see things happening now. A major question that people ask, why does a God of love allow suffering in the world? And we can take up on another discussion on that, because that is a whole heap of bigger discussion in terms of what needs to happen. But the thing is, though, one of the things that God has done for man is that he has given him the freedom of choice to choose between evil and good. And I leave you with that. We have another call online, all right? And we'll take it up another time.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Shalom again.
Morning.
Prematurely, but let us make this point.
We didn't cut you off prematurely.
Look here. Let me just make this point before I go in the word. Most people think, and that's the reason why that man called, because every time, you notice a trend? Every time I call and say something, he come to rebut and debunk what I'm
he
saying.
was rebutting you?
He's an antichrist. I said that man is an antichrist.
All right, brother.
And you will perish, my brother, if you don't repent. A matter of fact, you already...
All right, you have to talk quick because this is the last call. It's almost 10 o'clock. Yeah. Am I reading the time right?
No, we still have about 15 minutes.
Yes, but
let me just say it.
Say it quickly, my brother. Say it.
Read one verse for you people.
Yes.
Please. People believe that when you read from the scripture, you are being...
Read the verse.
No, man. Read the verse.
Read the verse.
Don't pay that no mind, because we read from scripture all the time.
Read the verse.
Religion is a religion. To read from scripture don't mean you're a religious sister.
No, but
I'm saying that I read from scripture all the time. I don't pay any mind to how people feel about it.
Yeah, I am not religious. Let me make it clear again.
Samuel.
That's a disclaimer. I am not religious.
Samuel,
all right, listen.
Samuel,
this
read
is
the
what God
scripture.
said.
Read the scripture.
He speak about 400 years. Genesis 15 and verse 13. And he said, God said unto Abraham, no, after 400.
What happened?
Okay. This wasn't Egypt. This is today. We are still in it. Samuel. This is why we are getting minimum wage. We can't pay with bills, etc., etc.
All right, Samuel. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All
right. Interesting line of calls there. How did it get there? Pastor, it's your fault.
Okay.
Repent.
I'm repenting. I take full
All right. Thank you so much for making the morning's show possible. We're taking one more call? No, if that's it, we're not taking it. We're taking, all right. In the meantime, let me start to say the thank yous because we're very polite here. And I do want you to know that we truly appreciate the effort that goes into. We have one more call? All right, so this will be the last call because we're going into our goodbye routine. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection.
Just I listened to the brethren a while ago, you know.
Yes.
He says he's not
religious.
Yeah, something like that. But when most of us talk of the Bible and the wisdom that is written in the Bible, people intend to make it look like, but religion is division. But me always I think and I ask, if you take all of the religion out of the world, that are gonna make man live in peace? Because a lot of people in that religion, I still see them do all type of
and
stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, really have nothing to do. We just have black our views and ideas on what life has taught us and what the Bible has taught us. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Talking, even if you are religious, that do not mean you are stupid. You understand me? And not because some people are dealing with religion in a stupid way. That not mean everybody are dealing with religion in a stupid way.
Well, let me tell you, there are some, all of us are on a journey. Man seek, intelligent man seek, and him seek with desperation sometimes, because there are many questions that the soul can't quiet, that keeps the soul in disquiet. And you are always asking why, how come? And we have desires and we want things, and when they don't materialize, we become anxious about what is the problem, because we are seeking. And in that seeking, people will latch on to different things that give them comfort for a time. Everybody's at a different place in the journey. If today you're religious, today's religious man can be tomorrow's great spiritualist, and vice versa, because you buck your toe and you lose your wisdom for a minute and you choose a cause. But we talk about redemption and repentance, and we keep the love in the heart in such a condition that there is no, as even Christ himself said, that the only thing him say you can't come back from is if you blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. But you can take any chance with anybody and say what you need to say and ask your questions. I keep myself in a condition where I'm not disturbed by the inconsistencies in how people express themselves, what they think, what they feel, because I know that a time of revelation will come, and it does come for every one of us, whether it's the last minute. And thank God our Creator don't exist within our frame of reference.
Yeah, because he's God.
So if it's on your deathbed that the revelation hit you, you're good. Tomorrow you wake up with him in paradise. So it go. He has laid a track for that. So I don't allow myself to be disturbed by it. I'm sorry that the calls got to be somewhat at cross purpose, but I am confident that if they keep interacting and listening and keep a mind that is fueled by love, the wisdom will come. We will get there.
We're going to get there. Thank you, Wayne.
One speech of Faith Selassie the first, him say, combine the knowledge of God with the best of man knowledge. You know, and we know who His Majesty accept as our Lord and Savior. You know, with the best of man knowledge.
And you should get a good progeny. You should get a very pretty, nice, well-behaved child. All right, my brother, thank you so much. And to those online who have been sharing their wisdom with us, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I see we are being encouraged to read and to study history, and Pastor, you in particular.
No, but you know, I hear my friend, and I tell him all the time, I've seen
We've
the books
lined up
already.
the prayer because I promised my brother that we're going to go out with a prayer.
But as we close, you know, I leave this quote from Marcus Garvey. He says, take advantage of every opportunity. Where there's none, make it for yourself.
And those online who know that others want to participate, but for one reason or another, you're not able to find us, please new YouTube channel. I think we're picking up in the numbers a bit, but I'm confident that those who need to find us will find us.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everyone, and thank you to the crew in the house for ushering us through the morning as always.